Welcome, everybody, to the CrossFire podcast. It is going to be a great night tonight. And you know what? Listen, I mentioned it earlier. No one likes to say it over and over again, but it's the birthday bash. It's Mooch's birthday. We're having a great time tonight. Got a great lineup. Unbelievable lineup of folks here that are completely opinionated on both sides of the scale as far as it comes to all of our main topics tonight. I'm going to have Jay, the Matrix Gamer, kind of shuffle everybody into the room. And while he's doing that, let me just do a shout out to Jay. Shout out to @JMatrix76. Jay actually works behind the scenes with me, makes all this great stuff come to life. So do check out Jay. Thank you for that crap. You know, I'll tell you right now, there's nothing like that, right? It's fantastic.
You're in the waiting room.
No, you're not in the waiting room. You're in the room. You're in the room. And with that being said, I've got the one, the only. He's gaseous for you on Friday. Crap Gamer. Crap, how the hell are you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing good. Happy to be here. What's up, everybody? How's it going?
Great.
Let's go.
Absolutely, Crap. Well, it's good to have you here, buddy. It wouldn't be the same without you. And, you know, we're glad we got that whole phone microphone thing straightened out because you sound great.
Well, it's the same thing. Like, I don't know what Windows Update did, but when I'm on Discord, everybody sounds like a fucking robot. So for the meantime, this is it.
All right, well, you sound great, and that's all that matters, Crap. I'm going to tell you that much right now. And then I've got my buddy over here. I've got Noximus Knox, who's probably going to work right after this. This man does double duty. Appreciate it, Knox. How you doing tonight?
I absolutely am going to work, Mooch. Oh, it's going to be a great show.
Oh, how about that rift?
Woo! He brought the guitar out. Holy cow.
My God.
Man.
Crap, guitars, harmonicas.
I was about to do a flamingo.
I'm about to pick up the tambourine in a minute. Listen. This is going to be an outstanding show. And then he's back. We didn't have him on Xbox Nation, which was just led me to be like, I've got to have him on tonight because we've got to hear his opinion on what's going on. The one and only Kratos. J-Dubs, welcome back to the show, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Doing good. What's up, everybody? What's going on?
Well, it's good to have you here, Jay. I appreciate that, brother. Great to have you here. And then, you know, listen, so Xbot448, guys, I don't know if you know this, but he wasn't feeling good. And it's funny because the new defense lawyers for the Xbox community are Xbot448 and this gentleman right here, Dirk Griggity. Griggity, first time on Crossfire. Griggity, how the hell you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. And thank you for the invite. And I am a defense lawyer for the Xbox brand.
You certainly are, man. But listen, everybody loves it. I got to be honest with you. It sparked a whole new amount of energy into all these programs that we do.
Let me quote Dirt real quick from earlier. He goes, man, you guys need new material. And what did I come back with, Dirt?
So does Microsoft.
New material.
So does Microsoft.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Burn.
Man. Oh, man.
Get out of here, Crab. Don't you start it.
That was a rough one. I'm not going to lie to you.
Pony leg breaker extraordinaire, albino rhino. Master of disaster.
This is the clone.
Let's go.
This is not the real Crab. You a clone.
He's tied up in my basement.
I can't wait till the first topic. But I'm not done with intros yet. And then I got my buddy Gaming Forte. And Forte, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are on Scumcast. You're dear friends with my dear friend, the Ashen Luca. Forte's first time on Crossfire. Welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing?
Yo, man, definitely appreciate the invite. I don't have harmonicas or trombones or anything like that. All I got is my Destiny stand in front of me because that's my game. And unfortunately, I'm a PC elitist on top of that, too. So, you know how it is out here.
Well, you're more than welcome here, buddy, and you're going to fit in just fine. And then last but certainly not least, you know, I honestly think this. He won't admit it, but I'll give him the rank of Mooch Maniac anyways. We hung out many, many moons ago. His first time also on Crossfire. Crispy Bomb. Crispy, welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing?
Happy birthday, Mooch.
Yes!
That is what I'm talking about, baby.
Thank God!
Let's do Showtime is in the house. Let's go.
Do this, buddy. You're very opinionistic, and we've got to hear what you got to say. Let me start with this first and foremost, guys. The Last of Us 2 Outbreak Day. And I know a lot of us just want to get right into the meat and potatoes, which is the whole multiplayer thing, but we're going to kind of get into that. There's a lot of things that went on with this whole Outbreak Day, and I mean, Jay, you know, J-Dubs, I'm going to go to you first. Jay, what was some of the positive things that you took out of Outbreak Day? Because, I mean, you are Kratos. You're Mr. PS4. What is it that, like, right when that came out, when you saw that, what was it you were like, I have to spread this word, I have to scream it from the top of a mountain?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Once I saw the Last of Us 2 trailer, to tell you the truth, once I saw Joel, once the camera panned to Joel, that was it, man. That was it. I was already sold before, but that was it. And I think that answered everybody's question. I think that will be the most defining moment, obviously, besides the whole topic we're probably going to talk about a little bit later with the whole multiplayer stuff.
Well, I mean, myself personally, the things that I took away from it was the unbelievable world they've created. We know that they're going to be using 2 physical discs, okay?
Yep.
That just lets you know what we're dealing with here. This
is how huge. Think of it. If the first game, granted, the first game was designed for the PS3, but that game was a large game. And so if this is going to be 2 discs, like they said, this is the biggest game they've ever made. And it's going to be, I'm hearing anywhere from 30 to 40 hours. That's just the rumors that's out.
Well, that's a magnificent jump up, right? Because the first one was only about 20.
Listen, it's such a large game. They were able to let the media play 3 hours of it. And still, that is, according to Neil Druckmann, that's less than 1% of the game.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I want to go to Crap Gamer. Crap, can you do me a favor here and let me know what you took out of this? Because myself personally, I can't wait to play this game. And I know that you're a huge animal lover. What's the problem with the dogs in the game? I mean, they're making a big deal about the dogs in the game. Is this an issue for someone like you that literally takes day in and day out saving animals?
Well, you know what? I mean, I don't go around specifically playing games that do that or like I wouldn't play Dogfight Simulator 1.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to have a problem playing this game. It is just a video game. I can remember there was outcry over, I think, what was it? One of those Assassin's Creed, maybe 4, because you hunted whales or something like that. Like, yeah. I mean, for me personally, it's just a video game. It's not, I don't really look at it as like glorifying anything. And I think that as long as that's the case, that there shouldn't really be a problem. You know what I mean? It's like the game isn't about that. So, there's so many other aspects to it. It's like when people bring up their sexuality in the game, it's like the game's not about that.
Right. Why are we focused? Is that what it is right now? Is that, listen, when news went from, and you guys all know this, everybody that's on the show right now, people listening on the panel, you remember when we were younger, it was just the news used to be at like 6:30 to 7. That was it. That was the news. And we went back to watching entertaining things. Now you've got all these news channels that are 365 days, 7/24. It's all day, it's all night, it's all year. And they run out of things to say. Are we just nitpicking at this point? I mean, this is getting ridiculous.
They're making
everything. Yeah, it's a nitpick. Yeah, everything's a nitpick. It is. It's gotten so bad too. Like Naughty Dog, they're like, you would have never thought Naughty Dog would get crap, and here they are getting crap. You know what I mean? Like honestly, that's what I mean. These guys are the elite of the elite, the best developer in the world, and they're getting crap right now. Like that's a real shame. You know what I mean? And the same thing with Infinity Ward. They're getting crap for something they had no control over, which is that game mode. Okay, and they're like, hey, we're human beings. It's like, man, these people are doing their jobs. They had no control over the business dealing side of things. I'm sure they wanted their game mode to be playable for everybody. It's like, man, sometimes everybody's just got to kind of chill out on the developers a little bit. I know it's like, we're in that kind of mode and mindset as people, but it's like, man, these people are just doing their job, and sometimes it's okay to cut people a little break now and then.
Yeah, let me just say real quick.
Microsoft.
Crap, we'll get to that in a second. Matt Bradley says, happy birthday, Mooch. Appreciate that. Mr. Twister with a happy birthday. And Element Appeal says, happy birthday. Red Dead is huge. Today? It is.
Your Twitter doesn't say
happy birthday, man.
No, I don't put it on Twitter. I do it myself. I do it the old-fashioned way, crap.
Apparently my voice is too low. That's what's coming out.
Damn.
Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday.
Appreciate that.
Happy birthday, Mooch. You look good for 55.
I look great for 59 and a half. What the hell happened?
Yes. Congrats, man. That's great, man.
Is
good
that
stuff.
a Metacritic?
Happy birthday.
Is that a Metacritic?
He turned an Xbox first-party game score today.
Oh,
Dirt.
Dirt, that's too early. I agree. Guys, great. Johan Village says, happy birthday, Mooch. Who's yelling? It's apparently me. Listen, Element Appeal made a good point there at the end. He said Red Dead Redemption, okay, and Crispy Bomb and Gaming Forte, feel free to jump in. He says, let's not forget here that Red Dead was a very large game on one disc. What's the deal with 2 discs? Is there something going on? What is it here that would lead this to be 2 discs?
They're trying to make it available as single player only. That's the way I look at it. They're not trying to have you, be tied to the online aspect of it. And I think that's the way I look at that.
Well, what about... Go ahead, Forte.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think overall, when they look at it, they're saying install sizes are huge as it is. They're trying to keep the size of the game down. They can't stop it from being a bigger game, but putting it on 2 discs will kind of mediate all the different updates you got to get day one probably on the game. If it had just one portion of the game where they were focusing on, I just think that they're looking at it like they have to one up themselves. They overall have had such great feedback from what Last of Us 1 was and what everything they loved about it. And they're just willing to just blow everything out when it came to this. Plus, they're under their own scrutiny of their own studios too, because God of War comes out, drops a Game of the Year. Spider-Man comes out, gets bought out by Sony. So Last of Us being part of Naughty Dog is looking like, man, we got to throw everything at this game. And I think that's why you're going to see such
Forte, you know about this stuff. This is your profession. You know, one of the concerns I had is when I get so far into the game, is it going to be one of those things where I have to insert disc 2, or is it you download both of them and then you'll just play disc 1 as the key?
I think it's going to be like how Red Dead was, like on the 360, where you put the disc in and you had to put the multiplayer disc in to install it. Then you had to do the same thing with the first disc to get everything. I don't see them wanting to do anything like that, because that's going backwards from what all these developers want. They want their game to stay in your tray. And if it's a situation where you got to take something out to put something else in, maybe I might not put Last of Us back in there. Maybe I might see another disc to put in there. So I think it's going to be a one-stop shop. You just got to install one. One of the discs might just be a download disc. That might be all it is.
That's what I was thinking. And Crap actually led me onto that point. You know, and I mean, I don't really have a problem with that. But I mean, listen, let me just put this out there. J-Dubs, Crap both got the Ellie collection. I got the collector's edition because, frankly, I don't use a book bag anymore. But I got to say, I'm loving this. My only downfall of this, and I'm wondering if you guys are with me on this, and if anyone else on the panel that's gotten one of the collector's edition, please do speak up. I don't know how I feel about having to constantly pop the disc in. I'm in a digital era right now. What does this mean? This means Mooch is probably gonna have to buy it again at some point to get it digitally, just so I can have the key. How do you guys feel about that? For you guys on the panel that has the physical,
I feel exactly the same way because. Honestly, I get so many games, and I can only really relate it to like Destiny because it's a game I play all the time.
Right.
That is the only game I own a physical disc for because I never take it out my system. And it was a moment where I didn't have, like, when I was switching between different games and stuff, when I was like on a break from that game, and I was like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. Once you get used to not having to bundle with disc, it's kind of hard.
Literally, Forte, I always put it like this. Some people don't really get that. There's still a lot of people that think, physical disc is the way to go. And if you're a collector, I stand corrected because that's a different hobby that you have in a sense. But it really comes down to the, right? But it is, because think about it, if, and Crispy, if I think that was you, if this is the case, do you want to buy a car right now that has a roll-up window? No! It's not a lot of energy.
Of course
you
not.
want the button, right? So I mean, this is our version of the button window.
But here's a mind.
Oh, go ahead.
Here's a mind F for you. Why are we still talking about 1 terabyte consoles? I just don't understand it. I understand the SSD part.
Yes.
But you shouldn't have to buy something when we all know that there's going to be like half a terabyte in like 10 games or something. Like, it's crazy.
Well, the way they look at it is, listen, they want us to buy it. Go ahead, Knox.
I was gonna say they got to keep costs down, and they know that we're gonna probably buy some sort of.
You're gonna buy an external.
Yeah, you're gonna buy an external.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They're gonna do what 3DS did, where they didn't put a charger in a box because they assumed everybody had the charger. They're saying, man, all these people from PlayStation, even if you're on PlayStation, if you're on Xbox, you got an external hard drive by now. If you're gonna upgrade to a PS5 or whatever these new systems are going to be, or just the game in general, you're gonna have a hard drive.
But the problem I have with that statement is that PlayStation has been against having external hard drives for a long time. So why in God's name would they continue to do the same thing? And they clearly are, because you're releasing 2 discs on one of the largest games you possibly could have.
How are they against hard drive? I mean, they were late to the party, but they've had external support for years.
See, like, this is my thing. I think guys like us, hardcore gamers, they expect us to buy external hard drives. But I think 1 terabyte hard drive is enough for casuals that buy 1 or 2 games a year.
I mean, look, I've got 16 terabytes on my Xbox One X, and I think
on your X, crap.
So
you play games, huh? So you play games?
No, not really. But I mean, it's a good Hulu machine. So I mean, there's that. Hey, I've got 4 terabytes on my Pro, so I mean, we're good there too. I got a couple hundred, almost 400 games on that too.
Yeah. Keep in mind though, these external drives, man, they cost little or nothing to get a bunch of storage.
They're pretty cheap.
You can get an 8 terabyte for like $100. So it's not that big of a deal. If you know you're gonna buy a bunch of games, sure.
Absolutely.
Would I like one built in? Sure, but again, I'm not
There we
willing to
go.
pay $800 to
I think they're gonna
$900
stick
to
to
have
1
that.
terabyte.
It's the upfront cost. People don't like that. Remember how popular the 360 arcade was? People like seeing that whatever. I don't remember what it was. $299, right? But compared to that $499 of the PS3 or the $399 or whatever the hell the regular 360 was, people like getting it. And then because you can always go, well, I can play it now, and then later I'll get the hard drive. You know what I mean? Like,
you're right.
It's a mental projection type deal. Yeah.
The biggest thing I'll tell guys, and people always tell me, man, you work at GameStop, that's why you don't want people to buy digital. No, that's not the question. The biggest problem that I have with digital when people doing it in certain games is the games you buy digital. Like me personally, I have a bunch of digital games, but the digital games I own are games I know I'm never going to get rid of. I'm never going to get rid of them. Why would you buy a copy of NBA 2K20 digitally and as soon as the new one comes out, your old one is literally just sitting on your hard drive doing nothing. Same thing with Madden and stuff like that. All these games, unless you're getting the game for a super deep price, like $5 when they were doing NBA Live 19 last year because it didn't sell anywhere, unless you're getting it for that price, I feel like certain games just do not deserve to be bought digitally unless you just like throwing your money away.
What about the free games though? What about those free games?
Well, free games are something different because you're not paying for those.
It's still a download though.
But you're not paying for them.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying.
People also need to realize that they can delete stuff. Stuff off your hard drive.
But the collector's edition is different. I want a physical disc with the collectors because my collectors, right? It's a collection. That means in 20 years, 15, 20 years, when I go back through my collection or if I'm ready to sell or if it's worth any value, someone open that steelbook case and see nothing there. They're going to say, hey, what used to go here? Well, there should have been a disc there, but there's not one because they didn't include one in the box because back then we did digital. You see what I'm saying? There's a reason why they give you the physical.
So you're not down with the Halo 5 model will give you a collector's edition with a digital code?
No, I'm not down with that. No, I'm not down. Because it's a collector's, right?
Let me interrupt real quick, Jay. I got a million super chats. I want to say thanks, everybody. I'm honored and humbled.
Happy birthday, Mooch!
Happy birthday, Mooch!
You old son of a gun!
You old bastard! You Elemental PO! Elemental PO. Thank you. I appreciate that. He says The Last of Us 2 doesn't need multiplayer. We'll get to that in a second. Kevin Green says happy birthday. T-Rock says Red Dead Redemption 2 had 2 discs. Install and play the disc. I'm not sure what he means there. Emmanuel A says, I believe he said something along the lines of, thank you for doing this podcast on your birthday. Appreciate that, buddy. Elemental PO says, Metal Gear Solid 4 was all cutscenes and filled the disc. I think it's real-time cutscenes. T-Rock says,
what'd you get?
You
don't have
to
for your
switch
birthday,
discs.
Mooch?
So far, these super chats.
Oh, come on, guys.
That's all. Well, here's Sin Vendetta right here, Crappy says, Mooch, you have a digital code for The Last of Us 2 coming your way from me. Happy birthday, buddy. Thanks, Sin. You just made it so I don't have to get up a million times. I appreciate that.
Hey, don't forget
Mooch.
Wow.
about me, Sin. God damn.
What happened?
Yes, that's amazing. Oh, it is. Whoa, I've had too much to drink.
You have. I can tell he's giddy. I like this crap.
Yes.
Emmanuel says, shout out to Dirt for holding it down for us Xbox guys. Well, let me go to Dirt. Hey, Dirt, what's the deal? What's the deal with multiplayer not being there? Are you upset about that?
Of course not, man. Okay, listen, I'm going to be as honest as I can be. The Last of Us 2 looks absolutely amazing, right? The game looks amazing, and me personally, I can't wait to play the game. Now, the multiplayer thing, okay, they said last year they were going to include multiplayer. This year, they didn't. Things change, right, Crap? Things change. Sometimes executives or developers say things like, yeah, we're going to do this, and things change in life. So, obviously, that's what happened, but they're still saying that it's coming. And that's good for the gamers because I believe the multiplayer for The Last of Us was actually pretty good, and it was kind of popular. I mean, not as popular as like a Call of Duty, but it had a cult following. So you saw some PlayStation guys was was pretty pissed off about it. So it's good to see that it's coming in some other form later. I guess.
Can I interject real quick? The fact is that you could have sold me a console if you had fucking multiplayer. And that's all I gotta say about that.
You think
Okay?
it's that detrimental?
Because I thought the game looked amazing to begin with. Way back 2 years ago, I thought the game looked amazing. And then they said multiplayer, and I said, I'm a multiplayer gamer.
Right.
Like I can get into this story and then, still have some meat and potatoes into the fact that I could go and play with other people and have some other fun, which I don't know about. And the problem is that I believe PS5 is going to have that as part of their launch, maybe not, immediately, but down the road of a multiplayer. Because I think they're going to release a multiplayer. They're not hiring people for nothing. Okay. So you release that multiplayer and you charge another $60. That's going to piss me off.
No, they confirmed that they're working on it, and it's going to be its own thing. Now, whether or not it's free to play or they charge you for it, I don't know. Maybe you'll be able to buy it standalone, but maybe if you own the game, you'll have it for free. So, no sense to fearmonger over that at this particular point. You know what I mean?
They did that to the
They
Lost Legacy.
said it's not going to be part of Last of Us 2, though. So
yeah, but
we don't want to be.
The Lost Legacy wasn't part of Uncharted 4 either. It was its own standalone game.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be DLC, but it was so big and so much content there, they made it its own. And if you
it
bought
wasn't
Uncharted
$60
4,
either.
You got it for free. And if you got it later, then they charge you. It was only like $29 or something, $20 or something like that. So it wasn't that big of a deal. I don't think they're going to charge you $60 for that.
Look,
but
that game was longer than Gears 5.
It was.
Whoa!
It was.
Did he just go there?
You out of line tonight,
Damn.
crap.
Hey, sorry, man. It's not me. It's the alcohol talking. I promise. It's not me.
What you drinking, crap? What you drinking?
I'm drinking some kind of mixed drink. What is this? Vodka and something or other, right?
You drink
vodka. Oh, he's all fired up now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
awesome.
good. It's good stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen.
Let's
Let's get into this though for a second. Myself personally, I'm not going to say that I completely disagree with what Crispy just said because I was a little taken back when people were sending me and Crap and Jay. We were all kind of seeing this thing come through, and it was like it's not going to be there. But here's the thing: I said as long as it comes eventually, and now I'm finding out that versus it being attacked on, which is really what Uncharted multiplayer was. Uncharted multiplayer was really tacked on. Like, I didn't want to play that. That wasn't interesting to me at all.
It's super underrated. Am I right, PlayStation guys? It's underrated. Hop on there. It's a lot of fun. Better than Gears. Better than Gears. I'm telling you right now. What do you think? What do you think?
Just because you're not good at it, Crap. It's okay, bro.
Hey, I've been good at Gears for a long time until they started doing the crossplay stuff.
Uncharted tattooed in, Crap.
I'm gonna get one, man.
With that crossplay, bro.
I'm gonna get a Nathan Drake tattoo and a Kratos tattoo.
Yeah, make sure you cover up that Gears tattoo, bro.
I gotta cover that shit up because people are like, "Damn, man, you're a feminist," because that's what they take that as like a feminist symbol now. You know what I'm saying? It's like Kate Diaz, Billie Eilish songs. Get out of here. That's not Gears of War. Okay, bullshit.
That's awesome, Crap. I gotta say, but myself personally, getting back to the multiplayer, I don't have a problem waiting till the end of next year. And I am not saying that that's not damage control. I would rather have a better version of what I loved in Factions. I mean, does anybody else feel that way? But now, Crispy, I feel you.
Let these people do their thing, man. It's their own craft.
I'm going to say something right now. It just sounds like a big old money ploy. That's all it sounds like.
See, people are saying that.
Hey, Crispy,
how does some PS5
Crispy, how the hell does an $8 kill animation for Gears sound? Is that a money ploy, my friend?
I'm going to tell you something right now. The whole Gears community asked for that stupid shit.
Oh, snap.
Did they?
Oh, snap.
Yes, they did.
I'm not sure that there's a community out there asking for $8 add-ons to a premium game.
Guess what? Everybody wanted to buy their own thing, and you got it. And
To
be fair,
can I get
the
out of
bulk
here?
of the people only paid $1 to play this game.
That's
but
what I was gonna say.
It's still a premium game. We can't just go. What do we say, Mooch? But it's only $1.
Just
You know what I'm
99
saying?
cents.
Yes, I mean, come on. Is that going to be the excuse when Battletoads is the worst game of this generation? And people are
I want to ask you something right now.
it's only $1.
Do you think that it deters me from playing the game because I don't get the skins I want? Do you think that?
Well, no, I just think that it's a money ploy, right? Just like, hey, what do you think, Bleeding Edge? I think that game's
what
at least
is
I'm
Fortnite,
calling it,
dude? It's free.
Well, listen, it's a free-to-play game, and you pay for skins and shit. I get that, but I'm talking about a premium game like a Halo or a Gears of War. They shouldn't be charging that. In just my opinion, all that money for extra
All
stuff.
of the maps are free and everything.
$1 crap, bro. $1. What's $1 nowadays?
Hey, that $1 is turning into $15 next year or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like eventually, that's going to go up. Like
3 years for me, but I'm just saying.
You can't. That game ain't $1.
Well,
you
still
have
to pay for the gold. Yeah, exactly. It's a premium game. That's all I'm saying is, you know what? Microsoft, the $1 trillion company, couldn't deliver any games this generation, but they could deliver microtransactions on top of microtransactions. Hell, we had to fund our own Killer Instinct. Do you guys remember that? Pay $5 for an extra character to fund a tournament or some shit. Like, Microsoft? Are you serious? Why are we funding tournaments with Microsoft?
It's funny. Microsoft really is pro-consumer in one way, and then sometimes they really just renege on that. It doesn't. They just don't. They're not consumer friendly on so many other fronts, right?
What a schmuck he is, right to his face. I'd be like, hey, Phil, man, you're a lying sack of shit. Because, and I'd bring up, hey, Kratos, I'd bring up the shit that we saw, right? 2 years ago, Phil Spencer said gamers don't care about frame rates. Now, gamers care about frame rates. And, that's in writing. Like, how do you change your mind into things change that fast in 2 years?
They have multiplayer, but
hey, they confirmed that but they confirmed that they still have it. They still confirmed that they have it.
It's not launched with the game.
Phil, what changed 5 straight years where Phil said
Red Dead's multiplayer didn't come with it. What other?
But they told you that before.
They told you. They didn't say it's coming at launch.
It's not coming for that.
Hey, GTA 5, the same thing. They're like, hey, we're going to launch it online, but it didn't launch till a while later. All I'm saying is, you look at Phil, and 5 straight years he says we're going to have the biggest and best E3. This is going to be the best year of Xbox. I get it, but he says it every single year.
Bro.
Hey, so does Xbox, man. I know, dude. Look, I'm telling you, dude. Bleeding it. Listen, 15 months. That's the next Xbox AAA exclusive. 15 months. Okay. And it's a next-gen game. What do we got until then? Battletoads? Simulator? Bleeding Edge?
What if they say at E3 that they drop Fable as a console launch?
What if they say and then wait till E3? That's something that we've been hearing for the last 5-6 years.
But unfortunately,
wait till E3.
If they
6 years. I see games that have launched on E3 stage for PS for a whole 6 years, and they continue to show the same.
And they end up game of the year.
Hey, Crispy.
50s and 60s rated games.
Crispy. They canceled Fable Legends in 2014.
Good, bro.
What I'm saying is, I forgot what the fuck I was saying. Thanks, assholes.
Well, listen, while you're forgetting, Rick, take you a second. Let me do some super chats. I got Weenie says, can we get some birthday harmonica? Happy birthday, Mooch. Johan Velosh says, if ponies want multiplayer, they can pee in a corner together playing Death Stranding. Johan Velosh, get out of here with that. That's crazy talk. Mr. Twister says, alcohol is the truth serum. This is real crap. And then I've got my Ashen Luca. Luca, thank you for stopping by. She says, happy birthday to my Italian MM. Thank you for always supporting me, even when we disagree. Wouldn't be here without you, Crappy and She-Wolf. The Ashen Luca, thank you. Hashtag my New York. Female Mooch. Outstanding to have her here. Thank you, Luca.
She used to call in.
We miss Luca. Yes.
On MNC. And
we need some more calls from Luca.
It was great. I play that game. What is that game that she plays?
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls. I play Dark Souls and Destiny.
Well, here's one for you, Crap.
Those are great. Yeah.
Hello, Moko. He says, I pre-ordered The Last of Us 2 Collector's Edition because Ellie's edition was sold out. I also pre-ordered.
Of course it's sold out.
Yeah, it did. Final Fantasy VII.
This is like the most pre-ordered game, the fastest pre-ordered game in PlayStation history.
I couldn't believe it.
Amazing, bro.
Hey, Dirk, the more important question is, how many players are going to be on it, not the sales, right? It's all about those players. So how many players?
The game is going to sell amazing crap.
Got
It's
him.
going to be millions of players.
For the long term? For the long term?
It's going to be millions of
That's
players.
the question.
Hey, wait.
For the long
I hear a
term.
lot of people always say the long term, right? But you got to think about it.
Hmm.
Where are all those hundreds of hours of Crackdown 3?
Man,
State of
why y'all
Decay.
keep on bringing up Crackdown?
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
Hey,
because you guys are always
Dude,
bringing up
Crackdown,
Crackdown
State of Decay,
Listen,
garbage.
Sony's
Garbage.
one and
Oh
done.
my God! Yes, those games are bad. Can we move on from this?
Sony's one and done's outlast Xbox's multiplayer trash. I'm sorry.
They
it
do.
is.
Hey, it's true. Listen.
Game of the
The
year.
good news is I said this to Mooch yesterday. Phil was like, I visited the State of Decay developers to talk about the future of the franchise, and I was like, I sent Mooch a DM. I was like, that's just what we all want, more State of Decay. Great.
Yeah, but
Good
they
news,
do
man.
it right. They got to do it right. That's the problem. They have to do it right. I mean,
Hey,
let's
if they
not
give them more
bullshit.
than a Mooch and Craps budget, then it'll be all right,
the
I
only
guess.
way they
But
can do that game, the only way that they could do that game right is if they pass it off to Sony and let one of their studios take care of it.
Hey man, why don't you?
Well, they keep buying up all the devs. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Marketing,
I mean, that's
everything.
good. That's good. That's a
You
good
know what
thing.
I mean?
At least they know
They're
where to
not
go and get the best
stupid.
devs.
They're not
At least-
stupid. They're
at
just
least they're
slow.
At least they're learning.
Oh man.
At least that's a admission. Hey, these guys have all the devs. They have all the talent.
Crap and
So, I mean, that's
JW, y'all are disrespectful tonight, man. I don't know what the hell wrong with y'all.
hey
Y'all
man,
just the
not
facts,
the
brother.
Dirt, man. We're friends, man.
Y'all didn't know
Hey
that?
Dirt, have you ever seen the show Perry Mason? Like you're
Yeah,
the guy
I remember
that
Perry
you're the
Mason.
guy that you're the guy that goes against Perry Mason every time. You lose every time, right? Like,
So you say I'm like the Washington Generals? Crap.
yes, you're the
Oh,
Washington
come on.
Generals, and we're the
How
Harlem
dare you.
Globetrotters.
Oh,
You-
Just
you-
claim it on the vodka.
Well, listen,
right now,
let me-
Crap. That's
Let me ask this question real quick. Sir X-Man says, happy birthday, Mooch. Thank you, Sir X-Man. But, Dirt, did you pre-order the game?
No, but I'm not gonna get a collector's edition. That's
No,
not really my
I just,
thing.
but will you
no.
be purchasing the game?
Absolutely, man, because I love like the first one. So
He
of course
loves
I'm
the
getting it.
first. Yeah, it's such a good game, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just that's such a good narrative-driven
not.
game.
You gotta
know what
love
I mean?
those.
Like,
You gotta love those 90 rated games, right?
oh
No,
man,
listen,
90.
listen. I'm not
90
talking
plus
about
rated?
I'm talking about my personal. I love The Last of Us. That's
So
one
you're gonna
of
have
my-
a lot of engagement with that game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's be a lot of
Like,
engagement.
I- I-
So
I-
wait,
a lot
so
of
let me
engagement.
let me go to Crispy here. Crisp, this was something that was kind of all over, and this is something the Xbox fans were kind of running with. Did you see any visual downgrades? I did not, but I
didn't.
did you see any?
Not in that game. No, I didn't. I mean, the only thing I could say is that we all need to get used to, if they're going to put a game out there at E3 or whatever, that they're going to probably use a PC. I mean, I think we all know this. The only thing I could say is that if you compare Xbox to PlayStation, they both have done wrong. You know what I mean? So
What?
Well, listen, I think, Crispy, your first statement was actually extremely accurate when you said that E3 is always the showmanship, right? That's the sales floor. So it always looks better. Back in the day, you guys remember the arguments we used to have back in the day, is that it's going to look downgraded from E3 because E3, whether it was Microsoft or Sony, they were using PCs to show them off. But nowadays, consoles are getting very close to our PC brethren. So my point being is that when we see something on stage now, we kind of expect that to be what we see at home pretty damn close.
we could look at Anthem, for example. Okay,
Great
We've all
example.
seen the huge downgrade to that game. Like, I wanted to buy that game.
Not on the
so
PC.
bad.
Not on the PC.
Well, there you
Wasn't
go.
on
But I'm not
PC.
playing on a PC, so I don't
Come
give a
on.
shit.
You gotta understand, right? We didn't just start gaming yesterday. We know when they display stuff like that, most likely it's running on the PC unless it's specified. We've been there before. Remember Watch Dogs?
Not even on PC. Jay.
Even before last generation
it
before
was on
that.
PC. It was
Nah,
good.
We know.
Not like that first trailer that they showed at E3. That don't exist. That was made just for that. Like that was. There's nothing that
Well,
looks
which part
like
are
that
you talking
trailer.
about? The part at the beginning where
original-
you're talking to the guy?
Yes, when you're talking to the guy and the whole scene, the whole thing, the whole trailer, that was fake. Like that was just made, that was put together by the guys at BioWare just to have something to show. And then they worked from there. They said it themselves. There was a huge article. I know. I mean, if I find it, I'll like.
I go back to the Cataclysms. the Cataclysms looked epic.
It did, but
what
there
they
is no
showed,
downgrade
and then
in
it
graphics,
just
bro.
yeah, but no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't feel there's a downgrade.
No.
The point is that you could have sold me a console if you had multiplayer.
But
Well, you know that
it's coming. I mean,
well, here's the thing, though. You know what, Knox? I'm
It's
with
coming.
you. But for Crispy, if he doesn't have one now and it's coming later in the generation, at that point he might as well wait for the PS5.
Exactly.
You know, I don't see why he'd want to. I mean, I would if he's waited that long and multiplayer's. But here's my thing, though, Crispy. I gotta say,
Hey, he's gonna want to get on that winning team anyway, right, Crispy? Come on, man.
oh,
Winning team. I mean, come on.
Winning team, man.
Dude,
Best games.
Dude, I played
Best-
PlayStation 2 for like 10 years, bro. Like, I waited for PlayStation
so
3
Crispy,
to drop the price.
Crispy, are you one of those people
Hey.
that does not play single player games very much at all?
I play single player games when it's worth it. And don't get me
Well,
wrong. Okay,
This might hit that mark.
Okay, but I also want to have the value beyond that point.
Hey,
So
crap.
let me ask you something,
Did you play
Crispy.
God of
What,
War on PS4 when it came
Crispy,
out?
what games are you playing right now?
I mean, what do you think I played? I work.
I'm asking you. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen you play. I'm asking.
I play
you.
Gears 5 right now because I
Okay.
haven't even touched the surface of the game.
No, I get that. Prior to Gears, what were you playing?
Dying Light, Division 2,
Mortal
Kombat 11.
Hey, you can play
Yeah, I
all
mean-
of that. You can play all that shit on PlayStation, bro.
Oh, God.
But guess what? The controller sucks to me.
Hey, get an adapter. They're not
Get
meant-
a SCUF controller.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
have to purchase more to get a
An
controller that I
adapter.
deserve.
Hey, you know what? Greatness awaits, dude. That's all I'm saying. You know, you're stuck. Hey, you're stuck in this rut that Phil Spencer's put you in. You gotta break free eventually, and then you'll be like, "Holy shit! Look what I missed!" And you'll change your name to Crispy Last of Us or some shit, dude. It'll be great. I'm telling you.
Shout out to Gadag. Sully says, happy birthday, Mooch. Then I've got one here from
Sully!
Sully. Johan Valash says, there is a downgrade. Joel looks old and tired. That's hysterical. Crap, we can hear you drinking out of a straw and chewing ice.
Yeah, dude, it's a frozen drink.
Great. I
so,
can't wait till
yeah.
next Wednesday when I bring a buffet to Xbox Nation. Listen, real quick.
Hey.
When I
Hey,
try,
yeah, to be honest with you, I drank that shit so fast. You're lucky I'm still even talking.
I can tell. Listen, real quick to kind of tie these together, you've got the Death Stranding custom console coming
What a
out.
game.
It's
Game of
great.
the year.
Man.
What do you guys think about this? I mean, I see a lot of people just going to grab it for either just the console or just the controller. I think the controller's worth selling separately. What do you think about that?
It looks awesome. I pre-ordered it.
Does it have the baby in the controller?
I don't think so.
It doesn't have the
No,
baby
no.
in the controller, but
Did somebody make that
the
then?
BB
Is that a...
the BB voice actually comes from the controller.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That is
Man.
cool.
it's yeah.
Is that really
so
awesome
that's
crap?
creepy.
Or not to drink
That's
that?
creepy.
Oh, I tell you what, Dirt, that is the most awesome thing I've heard all damn day.
Okay. Now listen, I said this on Xbox Nation. I already have some black ass hands. I don't need a console with black hands on them and
It
a
looks
piss
like a
popsicle, a piss popsicle controller.
So-
I'm good.
But so Dirt, if
Decal.
Battletoads
Come on.
Piss
have a
popsicle.
system, you would buy it.
Huh?
Whenever
sorry,
they
what
come
you
out with Battletoads custom system, you're gonna get it.
Ugh.
Bro,
Hell
Xbox is
no.
hyping up Battletoads. I'm not hyping up Battletoads, bro.
Statement retracted.
Battletoads look like shit.
Statement
I'm not hyping
retracted.
up that
I'm
game.
good with all that 8-bit goodness.
Yeah,
good
I'm
with
not
that.
hyping up. That's Xbox. That's not me hyping up Battletoads,
Hey.
J-Dub.
Xbot took the night off. He knew that beating was coming, and he was like, I don't want any of that shit.
Hey,
Hey
leave
man,
that
hey,
spot
it's
alone,
been
man.
what 2 or 3
I love,
episodes.
I
that,
love
uh,
Xbot, man. He's
Xbox
cool.
showed up. I'm
Sir
willing
X-Man
to-
says
I wanna talk
Codemaster
to my
has
brothers.
Grid running at 4K 60 on Xbox One X. I don't know.
Yeah.
Grid is Grid. I should ask
Man, let's all
J-Dubs.
buy an Xbox One X. Man, Grid. We all got to get that shit, right? That's a
But is Grid a good
Come on,
game,
man.
J-Dubs?
Grid is a good game. It's an arcade. It's a Simcade
Codemasters.
type game.
Yeah.
Grid.
Really good game.
People are writing me literally crap on Xbox. They're like, dude, this game's amazing. You should see it. It looks amazing. Like the visuals.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
it looks great.
Yeah, the way J-Dub
getting
played
it on
looks
the PlayStation, but it's great, man. It's great.
well, Jay's got the racing wheel, but I mean, Forte, what's your take on these consoles? You've seen them before any of us saw them. Are you getting any of these custom consoles that are coming out Death Stranding? I'm almost positive we're going to probably see The Last. Do you think we'll see The Last of Us custom console?
I think so, but I don't think it's going to be until PS5 when they re-release it with PS5.
Interesting. That's
think.
that's a real
That's the
ballsy
double
move,
dip
isn't
right
it?
there.
Yeah, it is. That's the double dips of all of them.
Yep.
What's your take? How are you hearing about Death Stranding custom console? Are you seeing a lot of pre-orders come up?
We had quite a few on the first day, more than 10. I was kind of shocked because all it is the controller by itself is sweet because it's a unique color that no other controller has, but they can keep the white system with handprints on it.
Yeah.
It is.
So it's like
it is a unique color.
My kid, I can literally contract my child and say, put your hands in some oil and put it on the system and get that.
So does it look like gold or like a really true yellow?
No, it's literally the same color as the instrument the baby sits in, the tube it sits in. It's that same exact color. It's real unique.
There's speculation on that, but
well, it's the crystal. It's the crystal one, so you can see through it. It's not a regular matte finish system. It actually has the just like the red crystal and the chrome one they have, where you can see directly through it. I think it's going to be a really cool system. The fact that it's going to sell just because of the controller, because people want that controller.
Well, shout out.
So do you think?
Go ahead, Chris.
I'm sorry. So do you think that if they sold the controller separately, that they actually probably make like a lot of money?
Oh, they'll sell out if they sell the controller separately.
I'd buy one of those.
I'd buy a
that thing looks
controller.
awesome. Yeah.
I just refuse to go out and buy another system because it's about to be PS5 and I already have a Spider-Man system. So I can't be like,
Spider-Man.
So do you think the controller should be adaptable to PS5?
Just whatever a Spider-Man
all these
can.
accessories at this point should be adaptable to the
Spins
new
a web.
Look, it's crap.
Something.
Spider-Man, we sold Spider-Man sold
When
13.5 million copies.
Look out. Here comes Spider-Man.
But no,
What
I
the
think,
hell, dude?
I think Xbox already said that their controllers and stuff and all their accessories are going to work going forward.
Wait, my mic was not muted?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it was not. PlayStation.
my bad, fellas.
PlayStation never
I
stipulated
confirmed that. Yeah.
Well,
But I'm sure
that's
they
what
will,
I'm
you think.
saying. Like people attract to certain things, and I feel like the controller is more attractive than the console itself.
Yeah.
So why not just sell it?
Well, that's what 90% of the controllers are. Like, think about that Star Wars, the Darth Vader system. The controller was more appealing than the system. All the system was a sticker.
You ever seen Larry Herb with his white gloves pulling out the controllers and shit? I mean, come on. I mean, here's my point. Okay, you can make more money and you're not doing it. Everybody knocks on Xbox for marketing and this and that, but when it comes down to it, you can go buy the cake controller and not buy the Xbox One.
I'm right there with you, Crispy, on that, because to be honest with you, that is something that Xbox does. They know that the controllers, I always say this, if you are a person that likes to buy sneakers or like any kind of accessory, controllers are those, right? And I'll tell you, PlayStation caught on to it late this generation. You notice they've got all these different color schemes out and designs now with PlayStation 4, DualShock 4s. They're coming around, but they're late. And I think that that's a good point. Whereas if you didn't want the Xbox One X version of Gears 5 custom console, you could still buy the Gears 5 controller. And that is something. Let me say shout out to Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Shout out to Brap Enrique. He says, Xbox One X is weak. Gears 5 on PC Ultra settings, 120 frames. PC Master Race. He goes, my PC's a Scarlet, maybe better. So what he's trying to say right now is PC is Scarlet and Scarlet is PC.
And he doesn't have to pay to play online. So
No,
there's
he's
that
not.
too. I mean, he's saving $60 a year. Man, that's crazy.
Well, there's a lot of people feeling that
How much
way.
did he spend on his rig though?
Well, you don't want to know that number. There's a comma involved. Omega /Buster says PlayStation is going to be at New York Comic Con. I don't know. Myself personally, I agree. I want to change subjects real quick to Inside Xbox was this week. We had a State of Play this week, and we didn't have a Nintendo Direct. But I'll start with J-Dubs. Jay, real quick, a lot of people always like to make the comparison of Inside Xbox and State of Play. But realistically, isn't it safe to say that State of Play is kind of a lot like Nintendo Direct at this point?
It is. It's a short show, right? It's only, 10 minutes maybe? 10, 15, 20 minutes?
I think it was 20 this time, yeah.
This one was 20, yeah.
Short, to the point, right? They show you some indies. They show, they get the indies out the way. They get the VR out the way. They tell you what they're giving you for the month, and then they'll come with one big game or something like that after, and it is out of the way. There's no talking. There's nothing. They're just showing you games and getting the hell out of it. I like that format. And Nintendo are, I'll agree, they are the masters of that. I like when they do their little treehouse events. Short, to the point. There's not a lot of fluff. You don't have all these more runs, trying to fake hype stuff that you don't care about. And it doesn't drag on for an hour or 2 hours.
That was one of the things that I said.
I do like that format.
That was one of the things
Sony's copying that.
No, I think you're right, and I think that. Do you think Xbox will take that same formula eventually?
No.
Listen, man. For some reason, Microsoft, somebody told them that they are knocking it out the park with dragging on these hour, 2 hour events that really shows you no games that nobody care about, and it really just drags it on. And I get it. Microsoft needs to do something because they got to stay relevant. They have to stay relevant in the news, in the media, from week to week, from month to month. They have to have something. And so I applaud them for that. But to drag it on long, I would rather for them to do like Sony.
It was totally cringy.
Microsoft isn't listening to anyone, and that's their freaking.
I agree.
They certainly aren't listening to their consumer base. I'll tell you that much. You know
they are listening to the people that are saying, "Thank you, Phil. You're doing great. Keep it up."
Nah. Those are the ones that Phil has beguiled. Those are the ones that Phil did his huckster, cast.
Huckster Phil.
Yeah, those are those guys.
Snake oil.
Snake oil Philskis, you already know. Sorry,
yeah.
Snake oil Philskis. But yeah, man, if you didn't like the content that was in State of Play as an individual gamer, right? Like I thought it was great. I'm not even gonna front. It had The Last of Us. It had the Call of Duty with the exclusive content. It showed that that after party game from that was pretty interesting. That humanity joint, not really my thing. You know what I mean? But it has something for everybody if you like it. They had the
Knox.
evil thing. Yes.
Knox. Ryan Landers in the chat said Inside Xbox is like The Price is Right without any prizes. That was pretty funny. Yeah, go ahead, Dirt.
It's terrible because they real quick though. I'm sorry, man. Let me finish up real quick though. If they want to make this talk show style thing, then go all out and make it a funny talk show that shows game content. If that's what you want to approach, that's what you're trying to do, go ahead and do it, but do it right. Don't do it half-assed with corny jokes and terrible personalities.
I agree.
The show is all about.
They get rid of.
All I gotta say is they're stuck in the G4 era. Remember G4?
G4 was good, but G4
but remember Attack of the Show? That's the same shit they're trying to do, except they're just failing.
Right, let me say this.
Go ahead, Dirt.
I hate to agree with J-Dub and also Knox, but they're right, man. As an Xbox guy, I do like the platform of the State of Play and also Nintendo Direct. It doesn't have to be an hour show. It could be 20 minutes. Show some indie, show some multiplayer, show whatever. Just that hour of that cringe shit. It's just no. Please, Xbox, just stop the Inside Xbox. Like,
high five, Dirt. High five.
Crap, do you think
that
do you think that high five was kind of staged, or do you think Ricari really didn't want to give her a high five? I do too.
Listen, they kind of took shots at each other the rest of the show. So, I don't know, man. Like, weren't all those people fired at one point?
Yeah, they brought them back.
They brought them back.
Yeah, I guess so, man. I know that's weird, but yeah.
No, I can tell you right now, it
was so bad though.
I can tell you right now, I don't think it was staged because of. They were both at our conference for GameStop when we were there. Ricario and I forget the young lady's name. They did the presentation for Microsoft there for us, and they were pretty much like that there. I think that's just their dynamic.
They're
with
salty.
Each other.
It sounds like they're salty as hell.
Yeah, that's just their dynamic with each other. They were like that even at our event. Just how they were playing off each other there. So I don't really think it was a planned thing. I think it just kind of happened and people just said, "Whoa."
There's no talent, apparently. There's no talent to talk about games. So they had to bring them back.
Well,
Yeah,
the thing
but
is, it kind of goes back to what Jay was saying and what Dirt was saying, to be honest with both of you guys, because really, what are we there for? No one's there. No one that's on stage is ever been paid by Microsoft to really be a comedian or entertaining or a magician or any of that stuff. So when they get on stage, that is usually, it's just a waste of filler space to get to what we're actually trying to do. And the other thing that I'm getting tired of is when they bring the devs on. You know, when you bring the devs on, I know people sometimes are like, no, bring the dev on. Bring the dev on to the E3 stage where they describe the game up there. But yeah, I don't need a 40-minute, a 30-minute, a 15-minute, a 10-minute clip of them telling us how hard it was in the office to program it. Just explain the scenario and move on with your day. Like that really, it grows old, and people are tired of that now that we're a year and a half into these Inside Xboxes. But you know, I do want to go to another question. I'll ask Dirt. I want to start with Dirt Griggity here. Dirt, we talked about it a little bit on Wednesday night, but I think it's important to kind of bring it back up. I myself personally, and I know J-Dubs is also not just a client, he's also a founder with Stadia. But I gotta say, I'm excited for xCloud, but I don't think we're gonna see xCloud in its fullest form for well over a year. And I got that when I saw the interview with the gentleman that's running that now. You could see that we're getting 5 games. It's launching in 3 countries versus 40 games on Stadia releasing in 14 countries. It's almost like if we go back to 2013 where the Xbox was releasing in 13 countries and like Sony was releasing in like 40. You know, it's the same thing. Yeah. It's those same, like, what do you think, Dirt? What I remember you saying be patient, Mooch, but will the general audience be patient?
Well, I'm not sure. It kind of seems like it's not ready, and Google might have put a little bit of pressure on Microsoft to kind of, you know, because I don't know if you guys remember when Google had their little show, and like maybe like the next day Microsoft did a video showing, yeah, we have xCloud, you know, so they wanted to show you we have a streaming service also, and it doesn't seem to be ready. You know, I don't know, Mooch. I just don't know exactly what their strategy is. Now I'm hyped for both of them, actually. I didn't get the Google stuff yet, but I'm hyped for xCloud. So yeah, 5 games, 3 countries. It does seem like it's not ready, just in my opinion.
I'm gonna tell you Google's strategy right now. They're gonna go for the multiplats because that's what they're doing.
Amen.
Right now.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, they are.
I agree. I agree.
So the fact is that Google has nothing else to worry about gaming except Stadia. Okay,
True.
Xbox has completely, you know, put a whole umbrella on everything, and now they don't know what to focus on, and I think that's their problem. I mean, let's be serious here. Okay, Gears 5, I agree with Mooch, should have been, you know, freaking advertised months before. And
thank you, Crispy.
Okay, I honestly see it now. If these advertisements came out a month before or 2 months before, it would have been a different spectrum on the game, and that was their problem. And you know what, that's why they are hiring people from Sony to do marketing and stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah. But on top of it, the fact is that we're sitting here looking at gaming in general, and we say, oh, you got this game that's coming out, or this game that's already out, and this game that's already out, and Google is just completely multiplat right now. That's all they have. That's all they're doing. And everybody's still like, okay, 40 games?
Well,
that's a big deal.
Well, to tell you the truth, though, they do have 6 exclusives.
Yeah.
And I get it. There's a lot of them. They're not the big bangers, right? But they're starting this stuff from the ground.
Well, that's like talking about Apple TV,
listen,
bro.
if we sit around, right, to be honest, right, for the last year, we've sit around and hyped up Phil Spencer buying studios and buying stuff like that. Well, Google has did the exact same thing. So
That's
we
right.
can't crap on them for doing the same thing that we've been hyping up for the last year.
When we hit our drought earlier this generation, people were being like, "Well, Mooch, you got Max and the Curse of the Brotherhood," and I was like, "What?" Like, now you got Stadia coming out with way better games than that. Yeah. And everybody was hyping up Max.
Content too,
right?
So exclusive content.
Exactly. So let me tell you, I know I'm saying this, and I want to say it over and over again because later on people will be like, "You didn't say that." I'm telling you, Google's going to play dirty. They're going to grab some sort of third party. And Crispy, this goes with what you're saying, so I agree with you. They're going to go out there and they're going to grab a third party deal with somebody, like very similar to what Xbox did with Rise of the Tomb Raider. They're going to have something of that nature for a year exclusive on Stadia.
They have to.
They have the money. They
got the money.
Google has the money to compete toe to toe with Microsoft.
That's right.
With
Yes,
the
they
gaming.
do.
They do.
Right
So-
about that.
They do.
They have the money, and they also have a way bigger market when it comes to servers. They're
And
all
they
over
have
the
YouTube.
world.
And they have
Think about it. And they have
Yeah.
YouTube and all of our Gmail accounts and everything else they can throw at us. So listen, people are discounting Google Stadia. I'm not
Microsoft
saying
has
it's-
Mixer.
Hey, crap, man. Hey, man, press mute again. Hey, J-Dub,
Sorry.
I'm
J-Dub,
done. I'm
that's
done.
why they said that Microsoft is actually worried about Google more so than Sony.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why they're
Yeah.
jumping the gun, Dirk. That's exactly
Yeah.
why they're doing
Yeah,
this
yeah, like I mentioned, yeah.
with five in-house exclusive old titles to boot, right? Like Halo
Yeah.
5, right? And Sea of Crap and the other joint. Is State of Decay on there? Is
No,
there
no,
actually
no.
a multi? There is no multiplayer on there, right? It's only,
No, it's 5 first-party games.
I know, but I mean, State of Decay is their first party game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but that's
I'm
not
saying
on
is, do they have a multiplayer offering in there? Is Halo 5?
Halo, Gears
on there?
5, Killer Instinct, Sea of
Okay, so they,
Thieves, and I believe Forza Horizon 4 is the 5 games.
So, all right, so they have multiplayer shit, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So we'll see, but for them making this big deal about XCloud and Azure and all that, you need to assure me that this shit is going to work. You're
Right. Hey, but I think that's what they're doing, Knox. It's a beta.
Wait,
You
wait.
wanna make sure it
Real
works,
talk.
man.
But
Let's admit
It's
now,
true though.
Xbox Live the last 3 months has been dog shit. It's been going down. There
It has been going
constantly
down.
issues.
Yes.
I'll admit
So-
that, yeah.
They have to stabilize that before they take on a bunch of Sony stuff running on their Azure cloud servers and a bunch of xCloud stuff, and then on top of that, trying to compete with Google. Now, I don't want them to spread themselves thin doing that at the expense of the console gamers and the PC gamers that go through their servers. Plus, they've taken on Nintendo's online network stuff.
Yes,
So
they have.
Crispy, like
We,
Crispy
we,
just
we
said,
got to be
Jay.
honest about that.
Yeah, like Crispy just said, Jay. Microsoft is a jack of all trades, but a master of none, and that's
Facts.
why. And that's why they're in the predicament that they're in now. I'm not with this whole streaming shit. Like, that remains to be seen. If they wow me, they wow me.
It's
Then
an option.
we'll take it up then. But right now, like I was always saying, if I had to choose one, I'm already invested in my Xbox library. So if I can bring that and stream those games and stream Game Pass, that would be the preferred way that I like to choose to delve into streaming, right? But this beta that they're doing, I don't know, man. They don't look very confident to me, man. We'll see what happens, bro. But
Yeah,
I think
we'll
I
see.
think they're
My
half-assing
biggest
it. I think they're
concern-
half-assing it.
I wouldn't use the word
Straight 'em off.
concern. I wouldn't use the word concern because I really do think that I have to give credit to Dirk Riggedy. He's stating the facts. He's saying they're not ready. That's why they're doing a beta. That's why they're doing it on a concentrated 5 games in a concentrated 3 countries. And I understand that. But here's where listen, history repeats itself, folks. And the one thing I have to bring up here is you have to look at something like backwards compatibility. We all were like, yes, finally, that's great. And it was like, okay. And then they're like, well, here's your list of games. And first of all, the list was kind of meh. And then they were like, we're going to get these games out to you. And remember, every month they would put out a list of 3 to 5. And then it would go like a month and a half. And everybody was like, what happened? And they're like, then it went to 2 months. Then it went to a month. And then they're like, listen, we're not going to do it monthly anymore because that's not working. We'll release them as we can.
Yeah, remember when they gave us the original Xbox games and we ended up with that big whopping 25?
Right.
Awesome.
Right, and that's my thing. So
Good job.
So crap. So you know what? Crap. Listen. Let me bring crap. Thanks for bringing that up. So if you guys get a chance, there was a one-on-one interview that Greg Miller did with the lead designer of Stadia game designing with I can't remember his name, and pardon me for not looking it up. I apologize. But the one thing he said that they worked really hard with is he goes, we had to work very hard with the third-party companies to ensure that that game would work flawlessly. And they had there's probably contracts that have to be signed and deals, and maybe there's other things in play there. What I'm saying is Microsoft doesn't look like they have a lot of the third. So that may be where everyone goes, well, Mooch, here's where Xbox has the leg up. All the games I have, I can play anywhere. Well, yes, that's true. But Microsoft has to reach out to all of these publishers, developers. They need signatures. They have to get contracts in place. They have to make sure it works. Then there's the fine tweaking and tuning, make sure it works with their system. What Crispy Bomb said originally, or maybe it was Dirt, they said that basically Stadia only has to worry about, Google only has to worry about Stadia, period. They don't have all these other influences in their way. So my point being is that Stadia just looks like it can go right out there and fire on all cylinders, where Xbox looks like I think they're way behind. And not just that, the other thing that's concerning, and J-Dubs brought this up many shows back, he's like, Mooch, don't forget, they're running off of Xbox One S's. And that may not seem like a big deal to you guys, and I understand money. Now, we're going to get into a money conversation here in a second, but 1080p service on Google's Stadia is going to be free next year. You're only paying the $10 a month if you want but they're offering 4K. It's one thing when somebody says, well, I don't want, like you go car shopping. I don't want the 6-cylinder. I'll take the 4-cylinder. That's fine, but at least they offer you the 6-cylinder for more money. Here, if you want the 4K option for $10, you can get that. Xbox so far is not promising that, I don't believe. They're only doing 1080p maxed out. So, I mean, these are the things when I look at everything on paper and I go back and forth, I think they both want to get in the streaming. Microsoft takes them as a major competitor, and I think Stadia is well in the driver's seat over what Microsoft has planned.
Crap. I'm sorry, Mooch.
Yeah, it's all
One
right.
thing we still Google still has to prove themselves.
That's true.
I mean, they still have to prove themselves.
Absolutely.
I know Xbox One has been underwhelming this generation, but Xbox is still a name in gaming. Google have to prove. I mean, people know Google, but they said, what? Google is making games now? So they have to prove themselves first before anything, I think.
That's right.
True,
That's
indeed,
right.
But the thing is, Google's coming out showing more confidence while Phil Spencer's sitting there laughing at his own product. You know, those are the kind of differences that have to raise a concern if you're a consumer. Like, yo, you know, they've been touting this streaming xCloud thing. They're going all in on it. At least that's what they make you believe. And then right after they announce their beta, they laugh at their own shit when their competition is coming out saying, yo, we bringing it to you, and that's that.
Right.
You
And
know,
that's
But we all know they're not, because they continue to do the same shit over and over again, and it is annoying. It's very annoying. The only thing that keeps me on that console more than anything is number one, the controller, and number two, Gears of War, which you could sit here and say whatever you want, but if you love Gears and you understand the premise of it, then you get the fact that that game just puts me in another realm.
You know what's
that
funny? I got to give Crispy credit, because I've got to go back to my extreme youth before I can. It's awesome. I mean this, Crispy. It's a compliment. The fact that you have that much excitement and you're such a huge fan of Gears, I think that's an awesome thing nowadays, because look at what we do. Everybody's just like, you know, like I just beat Control today and I'm trying to platinum it, but I just beat it today. Like it took me a while to get there, right? Because I'm playing other games. I got other shit to do. But like, there's so many people that are like, I beat Control. And then they're like, I beat Borderlands. It's like, all right, and I beat Death Stranding. And it's like, all right, it's like everybody like I myself personally, I've made a pact with myself that I'm not going to rush through games. Maybe that hurts me as far as getting a review out. That's fine. But like, I want to enjoy these games.
Absolutely.
But you have a truthful opinion about it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, you know, and that's the facts. Like, I get people don't know how to play the multiplayer. I understand that. I've put it out on Twitter. I will teach you how to play the multiplayer. And you can see in Dr. Disrespect, for the love of God, which I hate the guy. But in general, he learned how to play the multiplayer, and he fucking enjoyed the shit out of it.
Actually, Crispy, I want to counter that, right? I don't think that was it. I think the mere fact that he saw Ninja was getting paid X amount of dollars to play that, he's like, shit, I'm going to jump on this and play it too. I want
you
that
might be
contract
right.
too.
You might be right. I'm not saying.
So wait.
Or he could genuinely like the game, J-Dubs.
So J-Dubs, wait,
Listen,
you're saying he might have got him some money?
Huh?
You think some money was involved?
Listen, he already said if they offered me a similar deal to what they gave Ninja, I'd move to Mixer.
So what does that say about Twitch, though?
But he bashed the hell out of Gears
No,
when
it's
he
about
didn't like
money.
it. Now he's come on.
Well, again, listen. If that contract and them dollars sitting in your face, you'll dance too.
Yeah, but
Come
here's
on,
the thing: is Ninja playing Gears religiously?
No.
No.
And when he played it, I think after the first day, that was it. Right now, right, where does Gears lie when it comes to user engagements? Because we saw the charts that immediately after it launched, the scale started going down. After I think the first 2-3 days, that was it.
Yeah.
And so right now that we're weeks or a month or two or however long since Gears been out, where does that game stand on the user engagement level?
What I could say to
because
that,
they gave it away for $1.
You got Borderlands that came out that
Yeah,
sold
but you know
more
what?
copies than it broke records. And
But Forte, even though it was given away for the $1, there was a massive drop off in people playing it.
what I could say to that is
drop off because people that probably don't even care for Gears tried it.
Right.
And they just said, well, let me go see what this is. I paid the $1. Let me go see what this game
yes,
is about.
this is why you don't hype. This is why you don't hype those initial engagements, because of course, if you give anything away for $1, if you pass out a CD with $1 on it, somebody's going to pop it in the CD deck, play it for a couple of seconds. Oh, okay, cool. And they're going to toss it in the back window or something.
I'm going to make one simple point. Is Gears 5 better than Gears 4?
Yes.
I would hope so.
In every facet.
Okay. All right.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
All right. Hold up. Okay. Gears 4 had, up until Gears 5 launch, constant content.
Because there was nothing else to play for the most part. If you don't listen, if you don't have
I understand what you're saying.
No, I get it, right? Listen, Gears is a great game. There's no trashing at all. The series is it's the stable, to me personally, it's more of a stable of a franchise than Halo. And only because maybe I'm just tired of, I'm just tired.
I have to agree with you on that.
But Gears is what got me on Xbox 360. That sold me. That game sold me on that. And I like what Gears did with Gears 5. I really do. But again, we're talking about the engagements. There's a bunch of multiplayer modes. There's a bunch of stuff there. But how many of that core Gears people, how many are there left?
Okay,
like Halo,
here's the one example I'll give you. You have Sea of Thieves, you have State of Decay 2, which have recently announced how many players are engaged in that game before they decided to change their ways, apparently. But in the end, do you honestly think that down the road, right before Scarlet launches, that people might not be engaged in Gears 5? They may not have played it.
He's being negative, man.
We can't use that excuse. People are sitting on the sideline waiting for Scarlet. Listen, people sat on the sideline supposedly.
I'm not buying Scarlet
before the X.
Bro.
Listen, before the X came out, that was Xbox's excuse. Oh, people are just waiting for the X. They're not buying Xboxes or S or games because they're waiting on the X. Then the X come out. Then we got the same results. Well, I'm going to sit there and wait for next generation. There has to be some standard streamlined way of calculating the engagements or how many people are constantly playing these games. I thought it was the user engagement numbers, but we see that first initial by it being in Game Pass, that means it's going to have a higher.
Did they release an update? I mean, did Aaron Greenberg come out and say, okay, we're at 4 million, we're at 5 million? No, they haven't. But you're just going by what you see on Twitter.
No, because when you look at the streaming stats, when you look at the stream, listen, okay, there was prior to Gears, we looked at Twitch numbers, right? Xbox guys were talking about the Twitch numbers. They were looking at the Mixer numbers. They were looking at the YouTube numbers. Well, now that Gears is out, if we use that same metrics, then it's like, okay, well, after that first 2-3 days initial hype, then it went down. Then everyone went to Borderlands and talking about other games. So if I'm just trying to keep that same energy of what we did before, then now.
Okay. So you saying Gears is dead? Is that what you saying?
No, I didn't say Gears is dead. I'm saying the initial drop of a game, the initial user engagement of a game, especially that's in Game Pass, is going to have tremendously high engagement numbers. Right. So on day one, when you point it, oh my God, this is so good. It's like, okay, let's see tomorrow or the day after how this holds up. And then when you see that sharp drop, this is your base. This is what you have to work with.
Off your point of what you just said, the fact is that if you are not engaged, which they are getting rid of, then it's not a viable game. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't.
No,
This
no,
has nothing to do with viability.
what Jay's
I'm
is that
saying
on a
since
mission-
now, right? Since Microsoft said they're not going to share any numbers, they're not going to do anything. How are we, right, going to measure what we have always measured in the past? We can't go by sales anymore because they're not going to tell the sales. They gave us engagements. They're not going to tell us engagements anymore. Well, now we have the Twitch streamers, we have YouTube, we have Mixer to go by. Okay, so now what do we do with that? Do we continue to use that matrix as how well this game is doing? How is it going to continue to go?
You can't
Twitch
use
and Mixer. How
you
can
can't use
that?
that.
Everybody's not streaming the game they're playing. How can you guys
But we've used that before, Dirt. We've used that before.
Twitch and Mixer?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
Well,
Wait,
I see where
Ninja
Jay's
came
going.
over to
Man, when it
Mixer,
comes to-
did we not post? Oh my God! Look at all these.
This is
little
great. This is
people.
going to bring Gears up. This is going to bring Halo up.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
You know,
You see what I'm saying?
it is what
So
it is.
I
I see
you're
where
right.
Jay's coming from with that. I mean,
I see where you're coming
my
from.
problem with this, and if you guys touched on this, let me know. I was trying to pick up what you guys are putting down. But the one thing I have is just like what we find out from going from sales to monthly active users, now to revenue percentages, and who knows what's going to be next. Microsoft constantly is like, this is the initial number everybody was playing with Gears, and look at our Twitch numbers. Then when that Twitch numbers drops, they're going to be like, look at how many people like Crispy Bomb used this Nasher this many times on a
You see
Thursday.
what I'm saying?
Right?
Exactly.
They keep changing the numbers so it looks big, but in reality, it's small. And that's the problem. And I
that's
think a
what
lot
I'm
of
saying.
people are catching on to that now. That's the thing. You know, we've been saying it for a long time. Like, we scratched our heads for a long time but let's be honest. When something is catchy, like a trend, everybody does it. Everybody. Look at Nintendo Direct, State of Play, and I think eventually, not the next one, not Inside Xbox eventually, right? It's trendy and it works. Here's my other thing. Nintendo and Sony still releasing sales.
Yeah.
Yes, of course they
but,
are.
But Microsoft's not. And they're the
Because-
only ones.
Because there's no
They don't have it.
multiplayer. There's no multiplayer engagement. Of course.
Wait.
Well, wait, you can't say that. There's single player games that have like the single player to Gears is still a big deal.
Yeah, I understand that, but you have to have a multiplayer attached to have actual engagement. At some point, you're going to beat the game.
Nintendo
Listen.
and Sony beg to differ.
Listen, exactly. I was just going to say that. There were still, right? You saw the outrage yesterday. with
Smash
The Last
Brothers
of
is one of
Us.
the
Wait.
best.
Yeah, but I'm playing Link's Awakening and there's no multiplayer.
You guys all saw the shitstorm that was The Last of Us 2 multiplayer going on yesterday.
Absolutely.
All of that outrage over something that people said, well, Sony don't have multiplayer games, right? Okay,
right.
They don't have multiplayer.
Well-
Let's disregard MLB. Let's disregard Uncharted Online. Let's disregard the Last of Us
Killzone.
and other games. Let's disregard. all that
Okay,
stuff,
let's
right?
disregard,
But you saw
like-
yesterday
like
with your own
6
eyes.
Well, no,
There
since
is
you're
a
talking about Last
large
of Us,
multiplayer PlayStation base that wanted that mode in there because they're showing their stats, they're showing how they still engage and they still play the stuff, and
It's
you
the
can
best
still get
first-party
matches.
multiplayer.
How many matches could we get if we boot up Crackdown 3 right now?
Well, let's bring up Crackdown
my
again.
God.
Well, Forte, go on. Forte, you were going to say something.
Oh my god.
Well, no, the biggest thing when it comes to like this whole like making that comparison to Last of Us for me is the fact that those people weren't upset at the fact that it's just not there. It's just more because that was something they really cared about. I mean, I love Destiny and I love PvP. If Bungie was to remove PvP from Destiny, and we all know 4 times as many people play the PvE than they play the PvP in that game. So a lot of people wouldn't care about that overall. But for the subsection of people that truly enjoyed that game, those are the people that's going to speak out the loudest. If you see people like Hard 8 and you saw BG make their videos, they were making those videos not only because they were just upset about it. Those are people that I can say consistently, when that game was in the doldrums and nobody was playing that single player, they were in that multiplayer consistently.
That's
they were
right.
making streams
Yes.
on that multiplayer.
Yep.
So the people that have been complaining, like the loudest people, are the people that actually enjoyed that multiplayer. Me personally, I could care less that it's gone because it was something that
Forte,
I didn't get into.
Just
but
just to
Yeah,
put
go
this out there, I would have been a hell of a lot louder yesterday too if we didn't have a little bit of chirping, and then at the end of the day yesterday, we have confirmation now. Listen, for me personally, it's enough. This is only me. This is not, again, not damage control. If you're upset, you have every right to be upset. I'm saying for me personally, knowing that there's going to be a multiplayer, I'm okay with that. Exactly. If there was not going to be one, no matter how great, and I would still be buying The Last of Us too, it would have felt like something was missing for me personally. But knowing it's coming out later, I'm cool with that.
If they tack on $60 to that multiplayer, would you be happy with that?
I think they're going to offer it in their remastered.
Yeah,
I'm just asking the question. That's all I'm doing.
Well, and that's a whole other subject, right? Whether they charge a full price,
right,
for a multiplayer mode or something like that. That's a whole different thing, which I doubt. But I look at it like the Lost Legacy, right? This was supposed to be DLC, but it ended up becoming so big and so long. They said, look, this is technically a whole new game. So we're going to give this to the people who bought the certain, I guess, collectors or whatever. We're going to offer that for, to them for free. And then everybody else, we're just going to charge you $20. I think it came out $19, maybe 30 on the,
I think it was
30 on the high end,
yeah.
For that. And anybody who played that basically got a full game, whole nother game for that.
Do that though. They kind of had to do that because they already sold it as part of a season as a DLC. And they
but that's what I'm saying.
When you're at the people, regardless.
But when you're in the process of making a game, right? You have extra content or some idea. But if you keep working on it and it becomes so big, it's going to be kind of hard to tack on another 12 hours on top of another game that was already about 20 hours.
How about you put the multiplayer in there, delay it till PS5?
Well, see, and that's another thing, right? That what if they would have did that? What if they would have delayed The Last of Us 2? Would you guys wait? Let me finish. Would you guys have rather to delay? No, but the release date was 2019
For me, yes.
Yes, I'd rather them delay the game. Don't give me half the game.
No, listen, I gotta have that game. I want it as soon as possible. They could have dropped it this summer. I gotta have it.
They did that for Ghost though, Doug. They did that for Ghost. They announced Ghost as a PS4 title, and now they're saying it's going to come out for PS4 and PS5.
Oh, Ghost of Tsushima, but we still don't have a release date. We don't know, and the release date for supposedly for the PS5 is next November. So Ghost of Tsushima, they can knock that to the second half of 2020. But look, the front half of 2020 is so packed that they got The Last of Us coming out, and 1 week later you got Final Fantasy VII. That's you got two big, huge games coming out, right? Like that's unprecedented.
And that's why I could have waited for Last of Us to come out later.
But not for a mode that I don't play.
Are you telling me that if they instead of as State of Play put October 2020 on the screen,
I would have been upset.
No, you wouldn't have because you would have just been happy that they put a date on the screen.
Listen, I would rather for them to push Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII, any other games they have. I would rather them to push that back than to push The Last of Us. That's the most anticipated. Listen, that is the most anticipated game practically this generation.
Well, the other thing too, guys, is we're all playing Monday morning quarterback. If we can all take our time to look back at the way The Last of Us came out when it became a surprise hit. Everyone knew it was going to be good. They didn't know it was going to be that good. And I remember I'm one of the people that loved the multiplayer. I'm on record as saying it, and I love it. But I'll be honest with you, and it's funny that I'm great to be around the company that I'm around tonight. But a lot of the times when I said that, they're like, "That shit's garbage, Mooch. Don't play. What are you playing that multiplayer? That's a terrible." And a lot of people said that. I mean, I'm not just saying on podcasts. It was on Twitter. People were just saying that it's not their bag, and that's fine. No criticism there either. My point being is now everyone's making such a big deal, and the people that are making a big deal of it, they didn't even play the first Last of Us multiplayer. You know what I mean? So, I agree with J-Dubs in the fact that this game, let's be honest, you need to have The Last of Us 2 this generation. So, Forte, normally I wouldn't mind moving it to October if new consoles were coming out 2021. But to say that, to push it, The Last of Us when the last one came out in PS3, and I deliberately, this is only me, this is a me problem, I didn't play the remastered. I'm going to play it starting this upcoming October. and go through it on Twitch. But I purposefully waited until I had a release date so I can have it fresh in my mind again and go right into that game. That game needs to come out this generation. So that's the only reason I don't agree with you, Forte.
It's going to come out this generation. It's just the fact that it's going to come out in line with the next system, probably right before it, like a month. Even if it came out a month before the system, I just think
that's a tough move, Forte. And you know that better than anybody.
It's a tough move because they want to double dip on the game. That's why they bring it out in February, honestly. But the biggest thing is for me, I think most of this conversation really just comes down to this. People are super starving for this game. The community has spoken out because they're upset about this multiplayer. Who knows? Maybe this multiplayer didn't even exist. And now with all this backlash, everybody's jumping down their throat about it. They say, you know what? We got to get this multiplayer in the game. So let's get the game out the door and spend the next 10 to 11 months before the next system comes out and get the multiplayer in then. Because I guarantee if this wasn't a conversation that we were having, that multiplayer would be scrapped altogether because they don't come out and make a statement like they said saying multiplayer will not be part of Last of Us 2. They didn't throw no caveat in there. They basically said, here it is with no grease or Vaseline. Nothing's coming with this game. And all of a sudden, one day later, they said, oh, the multiplayer is actually there. We're just going to add it into a sample size something later. That just lets me know that they're going to add it, but they're only doing it because of the public pressure, which means gamers win in the end. But
I don't think so at all. I don't think it had anything to do with gamer outrage or whatever. Listen, these companies know. They looked, right? There was not one pre-order that was canceled. And I even put up a poll. I said, okay, now that they're not going to have multiplayer, how many of you guys are going to cancel your pre-order?
I mean, who plays
some of the most
some
of the most diehard The Last of Us and Uncharted multiplayer guys said, well, I'm gonna still get it, but this some this some BS.
Well, listen.
Well, guess what? It's not obviously it wasn't that important for you to cancel your pre-order and not get the game if it was like that. So
Jay, here's where I and I don't know if Gaming Forte got a chance to see this. This is from Bruce Straley, I think is one of their lead developers at Naughty Dog. He said, all we ever strive to do at Naughty Dog was deliver the best experiences we possibly could. Oh, is it former? Thank you, crap. Because that's right.
Left, remember?
Because Neil Druckmann, Druckmann was like, why don't you get off your ass and come back and work here? Is what he wrote to him yesterday.
Yeah,
that's right.
I saw that.
But he wrote, he said, this sometimes meant moving around staff in order to deliver on our own promises. And if that means multiplayer is delayed for a bit this time around, well, I can guarantee you it's for good reason. So what I'm thinking here more than anything is that I'm thinking that maybe I'm looking at the silver lining here because I'm a big fan and I need it to be good because I want to play that multiplayer, is if they needed to, if Forte's right, and they weren't planning on doing it, which I kind of believe Forte because they didn't say it's coming later. They just said it's not there. Then they came out and made another statement later. My point being is that if they're going to take the next 8 to 10 months and make a multiplayer, it's going to be beast. It's going to be nice. And that's what I want.
But just go out and say it. Like, don't sit here and...
You can't say that, Chris B.
Why
you
not?
know that. We fucked up. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound good.
Why not? Why not be honest for once?
Hey, when Bungie came out and had that whole XP glitch thing come out, and they said, "Hey, they didn't come out and say, oh, we're sorry." They basically said it was something that we did. We found this out in play testing. We was like, no, y'all knew this was there the whole freaking time. They're never gonna admit that, bro. That's something that's gonna go to hell.
But why do we have to not change the narrative? Like, if we're being honest, like, let's be honest. You know what I mean? Like, let's not beat around the bush. Like, let's just tell the gamers what they want to hear. Like, we screwed up, and you know what? We're going to release a even better multiplayer than we thought we could.
Listen, and to be honest, man, this probably what really happened. They was working on this game, trying to make it so big. Obviously, it ended up on 2 discs. They didn't have enough time. They needed to get this game out this generation, not next generation. They were crunched for time, and they ended up Xing that out. And they said, "Look, we'll take this multiplayer mode.
So
we'll make
well, we'll
mold it into something."
The same breath when they did it.
I get it, brother. I get it.
We didn't give Call of Duty the same lane when they said that we cut the single player because we had all these other offerings in the game and it was too big.
But listen, here's the thing about it, right? Here's the thing about it. Red Dead launch didn't have a multiplayer. What other game? multiple other games have launched with
But
no
they
multiplayer,
were
and it came
honest,
after,
dude.
right? And what
We
happened?
knew
Did
it
that
wasn't
affect
coming
sales?
day one,
Was
though.
there any outrage on that? Grand Theft Auto launches without a
They
multiplayer.
were
How did
honest.
that?
They
Listen,
told us that.
I'm just putting that out there, right? Now, let me ask you this: how many of you guys think that this game is going to sell less because it didn't have a multiplayer?
It's going to sell great, D.
It's-
I'm sorry, Jay. I was reading it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's going to sell great, Jay. Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to sell
Yeah.
phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
probably going to
No.
break Spider-Man record.
Listen, for the guys who are big fans of the multiplayer, listen, man, I feel you. I understand, and you have every right to show your rage and stuff like that.
Right.
But for me, as a guy who know that these games are single player or the narrative driven games, I mean, that's what it's targeted, and that's all I play. I just kind of shrug my shoulders. Just move on. It's going to be the greatest game probably ever made. Okay.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Again, I'm kind of repeating myself here. I was a little bit taken back when I saw there wasn't going to be a multiplayer, and I originally thought there wasn't going to be one at all, period. And then once I saw that they're going to have one, and I like that they came out and they said, listen, you know what? This might be PR talk, Crispy, but they came out and they were like, we're going to have a much better, and wait till you see what we have in store for you, multiplayer. Listen, if they just took Factions, what they had before, and they just enhanced the graphics and the resolution, would I have played it and liked it? Yeah. But I would have turned around probably 2 weeks in on CrossFire and been like, I'm enjoying it. I really am. But it's just a reskinned, basically, you know what I mean, version of the first one.
You'd be like, it's just another Gears. It's just another Halo.
Right. Well,
you know
what, Crispy, listen.
To be honest.
But Crispy, I will be honest with you, and it's something I said to Crap, too, is I played a lot of Gears 4 multiplayer. Not a lot like you're a lot, but a lot for me, right? And that's why Gears 5 multiplayer, no dissing it at all. It is better. But for me, I played so much of that, I'm kind of like, I played like, I put in like 6-7 hours into the tech test. I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm good. Like, I don't need to keep doing, again, for me, Gears 5 multiplayer, for me, only me, is Gears 4 multiplayer again. You know? So if Factions, right? So if The Last of Us 2 was just The Last of Us 1 Factions again, I probably would have been like, I'll put my 2-3 weeks into it, and I'll be like, and I'm done with that. If they can come out and wow me, now listen, the jury's still out on Naughty Dog. They gotta prove that to me. But what I'm saying is, if they're coming out if Naughty Dog's making that statement, Neil Druckmann, man, that man, listen, he invented the word crunch. Okay.
Yep.
So that's what I was gonna say, Mooch. That coming from Naughty Dog, you take them at their word. If any company has earned for that to go down,
you're right about that.
They're best in the industry, man.
I agree.
So
and
you're gonna drop a kick-ass multiplayer in the future, I'm all with it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Just give me The Last of Us 2. Give me my campaign. That's what I buy it for. Anyway, multiplayer to me is always an add-on. Always an add-on. Campaign first in every game.
That's the truth of the matter. That's just listen. I loved Uncharted 4, and even when I thought about going back, I'm like, I'm gonna go back and play this game again. Never did I didn't even have any. What do they call it there? I didn't even have any Joy-Con drift over to Uncharted multiplayer.
You gotta realize that we dogs in a kennel. I'll tell you something right now. And I watch kids nowadays just staring at their phone, playing the Switch. They love the Switch. I mean, it's easy. You can pick it up, you can put it in the dock, you can do whatever you want. Like Nintendo has something with that, and I feel like PlayStation, it don't sleep on the multiplayer, because I do, want to buy a PlayStation, and if I don't have a multiplayer, I really
Crispy,
can't.
listen, Crispy, I'm going to tell you right now. Listen, this upcoming holiday, man, this is good. Literally, the commercial might as well say, Crispy Bomb, get in the car, come buy this. They might as well literally say that on television, because you're going to be able to get a PS4 Slim with probably 2-3 games for $200. Or just the console alone for $150. You just got to go get it and find the multiplayer game that you dig. That's up to you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But the logicalness is you're going to drop your exclusive before you're going to release PS5. That's kind of stupid, in my opinion. I'm just saying.
They did the same thing last gen.
They did it with The Last of Us 1.
I'm not really concerned about that, Crispy.
And that game sold over 20 million copies. So, I mean...
Not to
Well,
mention,
that was, like,
Crispy.
combined with the PS4 version too, though.
Crispy, if you buy your PS4 with 3 games for like $175, which is exactly a deal they had last year, by the way, so I'm not making that up, okay? Around holiday time, I'm telling you right now, that's 3 games, a console for $175. You take that same PS4 Slim and trade it in when the PS5 comes out, you're probably going to get at least $99 for that console. So you're going to be able to get a year worth of good times for $75. Moochonomics, and let me tell you something, that's on your test next week, Crispy. But I mean, listen, I'm going to switch subjects real quick. Borderlands 3 and Gears 5 got patches recently. And it's not about the 2 games, it's not versus them. This is more of what we were talking about a little bit ago when we said, the developers need to come out and prepare these games. Is this acceptable to have games come out like Gears and Borderlands and then need a patch a week later?
It's not.
This is the standard.
Not
I hate to say it, but this is becoming the standard.
That's how it is now, bro.
This generation, they will willingly release the game knowing that they can patch it and deal with it later.
Yeah, but it has to be.
And EA is the worst at it because they'll release not only a broken game, but everything that they promised will come later, and they'll decide if they are eventually going to release that.
Broken
at all.
The thing is,
are unacceptable 100% of the time, bro. Broken and buggy.
Listen, I agree, but
bugs go with the territory when they're minor bugs,
But Nintendo, listen. There is no excuse. Nintendo, and I give them props. They have that seal of approval, that quality seal of approval, saying that you can play this game from beginning to end without running into any game-ending bugs or anything like that. Because
why is that though? I mean,
well, okay, let me tell you why, right? But also on the flip side of that, Nintendo don't make the big caliber of games that
they don't make
big
like
third-party games
that
are graphically demanding and stuff like that.
That's what I was about to say, Jay. That's
they get to keep the same code. Think about it. Super Mario Maker, Luigi,
2D game,
Mario. All of these games are basically the same engine, the same game. They just do something different with
well,
it.
Jay,
So
Jay,
they don't
Jay,
have much to work.
Jay, let me just combat in that real quick though. That is that holds a candle today, but let's also call it what it is. That Nintendo's had that golden seal of quality since the 90s. So when everybody, right? So when everybody was the 80s. So So my point is that even back then, I never took a game home and it was broken. So
but Mooch, how many times you had to take the cartridge out and blow? And slam
that was hardware.
But that was a hardware issue. But
stick a shoe inside the tray.
Okay, but listen to this though. Hey guys,
go ahead, Dirt.
But listen to this. Like, look at that. Look at the biggest games this year, right? Gears 5, bugs. Borderlands 3, bugs. NBA 2K20, bugs. Days Gone, bugs.
Days Gone, bugs. Yeah.
So many games. Big games, AAA games.
Buy them and accept it. That's what we do. We buy them and we accept it.
We buy them because we love games.
We do love them. I'm not sitting here, I want to buy 2K20 so bad, but I hear all kinds of shit about it.
Oh, it was terrible. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Madden is a reskin, and we continue to buy it. This is
literally new roster update.
That's what we do. You know what I mean? I go play 2K or Madden 2019 and 2020.
But these guys,
and it's the same fucking game.
But they know they got us. That's the thing. They know they got us because
Mooch, listen, our love for games we just overlook. Well, they'll patch it later. Now it's not right. I'm not saying it's right, but that's our attitude. Yeah, well, they'll patch it later. I can just play this.
You know what? With me, you have it's like that first impression thing, right? You have that first impression. After that, it's over. And just like with me, if I play a game and it's buggy to the point where it frustrates me and I quit it, that's it. Even if you fix the game later on, it's going to be hard to get me back.
And I'll give you credit, Jay. A lot of people said Days Gone was trash.
Yes,
including PlayStation gamers.
It was. It was buggy. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what I mean?
I got caught up in the bug. I got caught up in a bug where I couldn't progress, and I waited for that to be patched. It was patched, right? But man, I didn't go back to that game. Everybody was like, "Hey, do you beat it yet?" Beat it? Nope, I haven't. It took two weeks for them to patch it. and I was finally
Now,
able
see,
to make that progress.
I'm not
But
gonna lie.
That's what that game ended up with a 71 Metacritic.
Yeah.
That's what it deserved for doing that. They
Yeah.
should have waited,
Yeah.
fixed the game, and it probably would have got an 85, 80. Everyone else agrees.
And it was
that
funny.
It deserved.
It was funny.
game.
We didn't see it.
Absolutely, Jay.
I didn't see any of the reviews mention it, but maybe that's why it ended up with an 85. But Crispy, you tell me if you ran into this. I know a lot of people did on Twitter. We saw people showing it. Shout out to the Ash and Luca who showed like endless drift on their controller. But like I still am only at the end of Act 3 on Gears because I went to go play it for an entire weekend and I got stuck in Act 2 twice and I had to redo it and start over. And myself personally, that's a deterrent. And then all of a sudden, right, a week later, Borderlands came out. And you guys know, like this Crispy, the same way you'll scream from a mountain, how you love Gear. I love Borderlands, man. I love it.
I got
So
you.
I went over. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to beat Gears. I'm definitely, and actually, I probably got about 2 hours left from what I hear, about 2.5 hours left. But what because Act 4 is shorter. You guys know that. But I mean, like, my point being is that, like, that's a deterrent, and I feel bad. That right there, that if I'm a developer, what J-Dubs just said, that hurts. Like, because I'll tell you, I beat Days Gone. I platinumed that game. That game is fan-goddamn-tastic, but he didn't get to experience that.
Yeah. Yep.
So what I gotta ask you is, did you try to play co-op when you played Gears 5?
No, I was playing solo. And listen, after I ended up getting past it, once I got past it, somebody was like, Mooch, all you got to do is get a buddy in there and have them activate Jack and roll through. And I was like, God damn. I didn't even I mean, because, listen, I was, look at.
Man on PC.
Right? Well, yeah, there you go. Gamer Forte was definitely the man for that. But I mean, like, in all honesty, like, what was our boy's name there? Adam, oh, man, I'm thinking of Adam Schefter from the sports world. But Adam Sessler.
Yeah, Adam Sessler.
One of the reasons I really dug Adam Sessler was not only did he do a thorough review, he was the reviewer of all reviewers. But in all honesty, one of the things he said in one of his reviews was, he goes, one of the things people ask me is, how do I prepare for a game? And when he said this, this is about 6-7 years ago. I try to do this with my favorite first-person game that I can just play. Not first-person, but single-player game. I'm sitting there, and he goes, you get yourself some brain food. You got to get some almonds, get yourself your favorite drink, get this, get that. Because he goes, you're going to play this game, sit down for 8 to 10 hours. You got to be prepared for this, right? He goes, people joke about it, but it's not true. It's not a joke. You play games for like 6-8 hours. You better have some food. People always go to Doritos and Mountain Dew. I try to do a little bit healthier. You know what I'm saying? Like, but my point is, like, you do that, get ready. I kind of get into it. I don't always want to play co-op. I don't always want to play multiplayer. And I'll explain to you, even in Borderlands. I'm playing Borderlands. I'm playing through Borderlands. But, like, I like the writing. I like the humor. And when I play with my friends, that's a different type of fun. That's a good time blasting it up, yucking it up, talking about what's going on, what's happening, this and that. That's fun. But if I want to enjoy the game and the writing and really get the essence for the game, I think you got to experience that solo. So, like, when Gears, people are like, just hop on with your friends and play through it, doesn't matter. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that, but I wanted to play it through solo first. And that was my reasoning, because, I have to give you an answer for why I didn't think that way. I was thinking, I want to play this weekend through it on my own, just to get the full essence of it so I could talk about it. But, yeah, I mean, that's my whole thing. Do you guys feel that way at all? Or do you guys feel like, no, when it's got co-op, I'm immediately getting one of my friends, we're running through a co-op?
I absolutely feel the same way you do. The only person that I could really is my boy Beast 378, because we got that etiquette where we both know, shut the hell up, cutscene is coming.
Right.
We don't even gotta say anything to each other. So he's about the only one. I play co-op with my wife. They're going into a cutscene. She's in the back. I gotta start making dinner in about 5 minutes. Right in the middle of the cutscene too. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm right there with you, bro. I'm story first. So yeah. So
that's a perfect example right there.
That literally just happened.
It's like, I'm cooking something up right now. What do you want? No, but I mean, I really think that's the way I feel through that. I want to kind of switch subjects real quick because we only have about 20 minutes left. I got a couple subjects. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Everybody's very excited about it. Very excited about it.
It looks great to me, bro.
And I can't wait to get it. Go ahead.
Yep. I've had withdrawals ever since playing it to beta.
I'll tell you, the game looks fantastic. I like the new engine. I like what they're doing. But what's the deal here? Do you guys think it's a big deal? I personally don't. Do you think it's a big deal that survival mode is exclusive to the PS4?
No.
I think it's a big deal. I think it's a big deal for PlayStation fans.
Yes.
Because it shows that Sony is still willing to cut the check to give their fan base something that other people can't, and that it gives more incentives for Nintendo and PC and Xbox gamers to go and buy a PlayStation so they can enjoy other content.
That's why it's funny, Jay, that they sitting there saying it's so anti-consumer. It's anti-consumer if you're an Xbox enthusiast and you solely have an Xbox. Anti-consumer for you. Very pro-consumer.
I loved getting those. I loved getting the
perks.
the back in the 360 when we used to get the 30 days of having the new DLC maps.
Absolutely.
Woo, that was a big deal.
Hey, listen, Mooch.
That's always great when you get more for the same price, bro. You know what
Mooch said it like last year or like maybe 2 years ago when Phil Spencer said, I don't want to keep any content. He said it then. Yeah, you don't want to keep any content off, but what you're doing, they're like Sony, they don't believe in that. So you're really like keeping content off for your Xbox fan.
But Dirt, why can't people keep that same energy when Sony was, when Microsoft Field and Game got Tomb Raider for a whole year. We're talking about a whole game, not a mode. This is a mode. This is something small versus.
See, I think you misunderstood me. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, he's agreeing with you.
And I get that. I'm just saying for those who feel like this is the end of the world and this is anti-consumer.
Well, you know what?
Was it also anti-consumer?
So I'm not a bit.
I think this
Jay
means to an end.
Well, not just that Forte, but I'll be honest with you. I don't usually use these words, but it's true. That deal with Rise and that deal with Titanfall, that was still that was all done way ahead of time. I think that was still done under the Matrix Watch.
Yes. No. I get it, and I'm not kicking Microsoft down for doing it. I'm saying the people are outraged and mad.
Yes, they were.
That PlayStation has this, but listen. We sit here and say that competition breeds ingenuity and is better for
absolutely.
The I'm a PlayStation. Let's say I'm a PlayStation customer, right? I'm a Sony custom PlayStation owner. Obviously, I own all the consoles, but still, this is good. This is what I want to see. Fine, I paid $60 and I have something that nobody else has. Okay, that's more incentive for me to buy it on this format.
Yeah,
that's the period.
I think this whole thing happened because of the whole cross-play and save thing, because ultimately Sony holds all the cards in this situation. If Activision wanted to go forward, they needed their blessings to do it. I think Sony didn't pay a dime for this because they don't have to pay a dime, because Activision wanted something from them, and they said, if we give you this, will you give us this? And they said, we're going to give you this. That's why it's only a mode. It's a Spec Ops mode. They're giving you just the mode in the game, not the actual whole game mode. But it just comes down to Sony's the market leader. Yep. They write the checks and everything, and Activision was like, we want to make it crossplay. Well, how can we make that happen? They went up to the 11th hour with Destiny on it. It took them a whole calendar year for Fortnite to get crossplay almost. So don't think that Activision got off easy. They definitely didn't pay no money for this. Activision gave this to them just to get that feature in the game.
I think you're right. Sir X-Man says, shout out to Sir X-Man, he says, EA and 2K can learn from the Fortnite paid update rosters. Makes so much more money than bringing the same software out every single year. Facts. Yeah, Sir X-Man makes a good point there. I mean, I do agree with what Forte said. I think myself personally, this is a big deal. It is a big deal if you're a PlayStation owner and you play it over there. I mean, myself personally, I will be buying Call of Duty on the Xbox just because that's just like, I told you, I've got my casual friends, they play just this game. And that's where they play, on Xbox. So that's where I'll be. But, the survival mode's not enough. Go ahead, Knox. You got something?
No, I said it's crossplay though. You could if you wanted to get it on PlayStation to take advantage of the mode, you can still play with your boys on Xbox.
That's actually a really good point. I forgot about that. That's still something that doesn't. Go ahead, Jay.
That's true. No, that's true. Think about it, Mooch. You get it on PlayStation, you can still play with your friends, but you also have an extra mode that nobody else has.
It's more for your money. And that's the one thing I think that it comes down to. And, shout out to Dirt for being a huge, huge fan of, and always watching the Mooch for all these years. I appreciate that, Dirt. Thank you. Because Dirt does remember. Sure. That was one of the first things that I did say was like, Phil, I understand that. And don't get me wrong. When you're standing on a soapbox preaching, man, that sounds really good. It really does. You're like, man, this is a man for the people right here. But then you turn around and you see the guy on the soapbox just about 10 feet over being like, that's fine, but I just bought what he didn't, and I'm giving it away over here. You're like, oh, and then the whole crowd just kind of shifts over to the left. You know,
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
you know that's the thing that
Swing to the left, swing to the
Hey,
right.
you said that still when you was Team Xbox. You know, you actually said that back
Hey,
then.
listen, man. Look, at this point with cross saves and streaming and everything's on your phone and we're all defending all of that, I don't think there's no more team anything.
Yeah,
I think
that's true.
we're all gamers. Okay.
Yeah, we are.
And
Well,
the
I don't
fact
mean to.
is-
No, I mean it
the
is
fact
what it
is-
is.
Oh shit!
is that you're gonna sit here and say, oh, you're gonna play it on Xbox, but yet you don't get the same mode.
Mooch is
Come
a
on,
politician today. Mooch is a politician today. I see.
Well,
Come
no,
on,
well, no, crap. It
man.
is what it is. I mean, think about it. We sit there. J-Dub's made a good point. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm sitting there saying I'm going to buy it on Xbox because my friends are over there. He goes, but Mooch, you don't have to. You get on your PlayStation and play with your Xbox friends. So at this point in time, it's like everything is, as the future continues forward, everything's
Even less
merging.
reason to get an Xbox, really.
Right. That's everything's
Exactly.
merging.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So
Now,
you know.
if you're a console gamer, you know, it would be better on the X, though.
Hey, crap, this one you'll like. Johan Village says, Mooch, we're going to follow Captain Stu Nuts again, and it's great. I also am
I'm
an Xbox
excited,
guy and
man.
don't give two shits about the PS4 exclusive mode. There you go
Yeah.
from
There you
Johan.
go.
Represent.
All right.
Johan, represent.
He's representing.
Hey, crawl back in your hole.
Hey, crap, man. Show some respect to Xbox guys, man. You out of line.
Listen,
Hey,
look,
man,
if
I love it.
That's good
Phil-
for you. My bad.
Phil-
I was gonna say that if you guys-
I'm sipping that vodka crap. What the fuck?
I'm done, man. It's out. That's that Phil Spencer stuff, man. That Phil Spencer syndrome, man. Everybody's like, Phil Spencer's the man, and I'm just like, man, I
that
got
was
all
the
these.
Death Stranding P, bro. That's what it's coming down to.
It's crazy. Hey, Phil Spencer's gonna congratulate Sony and Kojima on a game well crafted. Well crafted. I guarantee you he will. He'll be like, congratulations. I wish we could have put out a game like that, but we don't have the money. Sorry.
Come on, man.
Well, you know, listen,
Hit that
listen,
button again,
Hey,
crap.
guys.
Here's new Battletoads footage for you guys.
Oh, man.
Look, you know, crap
Battletoads.
makes a good
Jesus.
point, though.
No,
I mean, he
I'm
said,
good
you know,
with that.
Phil last year when he was at the Game Awards, again, he turns around before we got this year, we got the would you ship that? Last year we got the we got to do better.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like,
He said that every year,
Why are you trying to do better, crap?
he said it during the Game Awards.
but he hasn't.
Well, it takes time.
You know, and it's like
I hear that.
Johan Village says, I love drunk crap. Speak for yourself, Johan. Crap, that's great.
He didn't speak for a whole 45 minutes. What the fuck?
He's drinking. Leave him alone.
Everybody was talking. I didn't want to butt in.
I
Everybody thinks
encourage
that I butt
drinking
in.
crap.
I was
That's
like,
fine. Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Take a sip.
great.
Take a sip. Take a
Hey, I
sip.
What do you
gotta-
guys?
Hey.
Hey, I gotta kill the pain somehow, right? Damn.
Oh.
Xbox drove me to drink.
Dirt didn't turn to the
Xbox.
bottle. He's
They drove-
fine.
well,
Dirt's fine.
Dirt's he's the last Mohican, man. He's up there
Yeah,
fighting the good fight, man.
Oh.
That's like, listen. When Xbox get their shit together next year with next generation, I'm gonna look great because I'm gonna be
Hey,
the last Mohican.
Hey,
And
you
people,
think
everybody
that?
left.
Hey,
I'm a
Hey.
Pat Mahomes fan, motherfucker. What's
hey,
good?
you think? Listen. You think it's gonna be great? Like this is because I thought this through, Dirt. Listen, I'm like, it'll be great because when they do come out with games, I got a feeling by the time they actually come out with new stuff, that shit's gonna be multi-plat as fuck.
Yeah.
It's
No,
gonna
it's
be
not.
like, oh,
Hey,
I'm
Aaron
telling you,
Greenberg
man.
said
That's
I'm
true.
telling you.
again, he just confirmed again their games are not going anywhere except a Microsoft
Aaron
platform.
Greenberg.
Yes,
What the
Aaron
hell does
Greenberg.
Aaron Greenberg know?
I don't know, crap. I'm just trying to say something positive.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. The fact is that you might be right. They might go multi-plat, and that's only because of Minecraft. That's probably the only reason why.
Well, you know, I got to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that that's a true statement? I mean, Xbox is like, I don't see how they can turn around and say they're going to keep it on the platform when it's clear that they're working hand in hand with Nintendo, and I don't know. I don't.
Listen, it's a matter of time. the whether you call it xCloud or Xbox app or whatever, it's going to be another way to allow all the games on multiple platforms, which would include PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and everything under the sun. We know that it's heading this way.
We've been saying, like you guys have been saying this for 2 years, and I mean, I know Cuphead and Ori is on a Switch, but
they are making games exclusive PC, and they're taking your characters from Xbox and giving them to Nintendo.
They want to sell their games.
Steam is not on. Steam is come on.
Yeah, real quick, guys.
Go ahead.
I gotta do this super chat real quick. I have not listen. I've been sitting here the whole time you guys are talking. I'm laughing. I can't even. Busted Move 89 says, "Can't wait for XO in London. Phil will announce a new Game Pass AA game, then pull out an umbrella and fly off like Mary Poppins." I'm sorry, man. It lost me on that one. I was like,
You're probably right. He's probably right.
Buster was wrong.
I don't know where Buster came up. So X-Man says, "Crap respects Xbox. He just doesn't respect Phil." I mean, listen, it's not that he doesn't respect Phil. I don't think it's that at all. I think the case of the matter is that Phil made a deal with Satya, and that deal was exactly what you guys are seeing pan out. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And that's why you're seeing people, like I said here as one of my topics I had here for the panel, are gamers really leaving Xbox for PC? Or are those just kind of like new buzzwords people like to say?
Gamers.
No, they literally are.
More people are buying PC, so yeah, I can see it.
I think
I put an analogy on Twitter. People leaving Xbox for PC is like some person saying, "I don't want to drink any more Pepsi. I'm only buying Mountain Dew." Same company.
Right.
But here's the thing.
Well,
right?
they do lose money.
That's not necessarily saying that they're not going to do it.
No, listen. This is where I disagree. Right? Microsoft has a $500 console on the market. They have a $300 console on the market, and they're about to sell you another $500 or $600 console that they want you to buy. Right. And they've been pushing, pretty much forcing people out to go to PC. That's not what a company that if I'm running a company, that's not what I want to hear. Why did I invest $2 billion?
They want them.
But you got to think of it this way: somebody buys an Apple iPhone 11 right now after they just bought an iPhone 10. People do that, and that's what they're counting on.
No. You just missed the whole point. They are trying to sell us a Xbox One Scarlet, and yet people are moving to the PC. They're giving Alienware and everybody else all of this money instead of giving it back to Microsoft in the hardware.
What if they don't care, Jay? What if
they just want people to play their game?
How much? Let me ask you this: How much did it take Microsoft to build a Scarlet? Maybe $1 billion, maybe $2 billion.
We don't know. Yeah, probably.
No, I'm just going to throw that number out there, right?
Because
so you're telling me they don't care about $1 or $2 or $3 billion. They're just going to put this hardware out there, knowing that it's not going to sell.
It's still a market. Everybody's not a PC player, Jay. You know this. They have.
But here's the thing, Dirt. You got to look at trends right now. The Xbox One X, every NPD is selling in their home turf, like awful numbers.
Single digit, almost single digit. I mean.
It's not good. So what I'm saying, and what Jay I think is saying, and it is a cause for concern. If anybody just shrugs it off and goes, "No, it's not a concern. It's fine." Well, listen, it is. You got to understand why is it we have an Xbox One X. And you even heard Crispy. Crispy's a huge Xbox fan, right? He says, "I'm keeping my X." He said he's not buying a Scarlet. He said it earlier on the show.
Like, you know why I said that though?
Wait till they start showing off Scarlet game.
But why?
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something right now. I'm gonna tell you something right now. The only reason why I'm keeping my X is because I don't think my TV can handle anymore.
What do you mean?
What? What's you got? Black and white?
With the rabbit.
4K,
Dirt,
240 hertz. I have one of the best TVs. I've played Gears 5, and I said my face is gonna melt off.
Oh, okay.
All right, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you start seeing some Scarlet games. You're like, whoa.
Well, the thing is, though, you got to remember something, Crispy. With each new generation, it's not gonna. Next generation is not gonna wow you on the resolution. We're already at 4K in a lot of games. What's going to wow you is the particle effects, the lighting, ray tracing, whatever that ends up being.
The graphics,
right?
The graphics, the stuff that actually matters.
So your TV will still be able to. As you put it, you'll still melt when you see these new games on your new TV. So
but I won't melt.
So Mooch,
I've already melted.
You just said the magic word. You just said the magic word. The new games, right?
right.
So, what new
They're making
games
games,
can they
man.
show us that's going to showcase that? No,
They're
wait.
making games,
That's going to
man. Come on.
showcase that power for the launch. That's going
Well,
to make people
everybody's
go
gonna
out
say
and upgrade
Halo.
from an S.
Everybody's gonna say Halo, and I don't like
That's
Halo.
one. Listen. That's
We
one.
don't know, Jay.
From
We
what
don't
we
know.
saw, yeah.
That's all they had. No, Dirt.
We don't know, Jay.
We know. We do know,
Yeah.
Dirt. We do know.
We don't know. No. We don't know because Jay gonna
Wait till XO18.
Jay gonna
Wait
say
till
Battletoads
XO19.
again.
We have to wait till XO19, and then
Wait till
we're gonna have to
E3,
wait till
guys.
E3.
Wait till
And then we're gonna
E3.
have to wait till games come, and then Tokyo Game Show, and
then wait till
Comic Con.
2024.
And then believe in Phil Spencer. Trust the process. Wait till E3.
Trust the process, crap.
Yeah, trust the process.
So
I
X
do
Man,
trust the
Did you-
process. I'm a
It works
Chiefs fan, motherfucker.
Philadelphia 76ers, he'll work for Xbox.
Sir X Man says Scarlet is not going to matter if there's no advertising. Sir X Man,
Give it
that's
to
gonna,
Luca.
that's a
Yeah.
great impression. I don't think you're going to see a lot of advertising for Scarlet.
Hey,
I don't.
Hey, tis the season, man. Hey, man, apologize to me because I ain't saying nothing about solitaire, man. Come on, bro.
Solitaire.
Yo, guys, we've had an outstanding show tonight. We're at the 2-hour mark. I want to say thank you to everybody. I want to say thanks to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for the super chat. Thanks for all the happy birthdays out there. I couldn't get reply to every one of you guys into the show. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. Thanks to everybody on the panel as well. I'm going to go in reverse order here, or at least I'm going to try to, because I don't remember the exact order. But I'm going to start with Gaming Forte. Forte, awesome to have you on tonight. Tonight was a great night because, to be honest with you, a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings. You've got a top-rated game that came out, or excuse me, was released as far as Outbreak Day, and then we found out the no multiplayer, and there's just a lot of emotions going on. We talked about it before the show. Let everybody know where they can find you, and hopefully you'll come back on the show again real soon.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's always been a blast, man. I always look forward to coming on the show with you guys. I really appreciate the invite. J-Dubs, Chris, every last one of you guys have been amazing. But you can catch me at Gaming Forte. That's on Twitter and on YouTube. Definitely looking forward to the next time I'm on here with you guys. And it was a great show as always.
Thank you very much, Gaming Force. I appreciate that, buddy. And then I've got my buddy Crispy Bomb. Crispy Bomb, who's like me and him are just going back and forth all day, just talking some shit and having a good time, talking about games. I said, Crispy, you know what? What are you doing? I said, why don't you come on the show? He's like, hell yeah, I'll get on the show. So, Crispy, thanks for being improv and just jumping on there and doing your thing. Let people know where they can find you.
Mooch, man, happy birthday, dude.
Thank you, brother.
You know, I really appreciate being on, dude. And it's at Crispy Bomb on Twitter. And you can find me on the next podcast tomorrow night. You can find me on CCC Sunday night and Retro Renegades Tuesday night.
Nice,
And
Crispy.
Let's just game, baby. Let's do it.
That's what I'm talking about, buddy. Great attitude, and I appreciate it. Hopefully, you'll come back on the show real soon. And then I got my brother over there, J-Dubs. J-Dub, who's not. We couldn't get our back and forth on Stadia. I really wanted to go back and forth with you on Stadia and xCloud. We got to do it tonight. Jay, let everybody know where they can find you on Twitter and YouTube.
Yeah, you guys can find me at JDubCity16. Trying to keep you guys laughing with the gifts and the memes. You know what I mean? You can also find me at my channel, JDub, on YouTube.
Awesome, Jay. Thank you so much. And then I've got Noximus. Nox, I feel bad you got to go to work after this. All you should be able to do after this is have to drink some whiskey and play some video games. But Nox, let everybody know where they can find you.
Oh, man, thanks for having me, Mooch, man. Like always, you know, it's always a pleasure to be here, my brother. Great panel, great chat, man. It was awesome, man. Mooch, happy birthday, my brother.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
it. Yeah, man, you already know, man. In Knox We Trust, right here on YouTube, at The Knox on Twitter, Xbox Nation on Wednesdays, the next podcast on Saturdays. Whenever Mooch graciously invites me to Crossfire, I'll be here as well. So y'all already know, man.
Appreciate that,
Again,
Knox.
happy birthday, my brother.
Ain't the same without you, and thank you for that. I appreciate it. And then someone I've just come to love podcasting with, and he just loves games. He talks games. He is games. Dirt Griggity. Griggity, thanks for coming on the show, buddy. You'll definitely be back. And let everybody know where they can find you.
Thanks for this invite, Mooch. I truly appreciate it. And check out my YouTube channel. It's at Dirt Griggity. I'm a positive Xbox guy. I know there's not too many of us lately, but, you know, I'm a positive Xbox guy. And then, check out my channel, man.
Awesome, Dirt. Thank you for being here tonight. And then last but certainly not least, hopefully he comes off the mute button and hopefully the vodka's empty. Crap Gamer. Crap, where can people find you this weekend?
Hey, Crab Gamer Reviews, and listen, I'm the last Xbox guy. I'm waving the flag. Go Phil, man! What a buff guy, man. He's one handsome man. Phil Spencer, oh my God, he's so handsome, right, Dirt?
Man, get out of here, man.
With that, I'm gonna say with Dirt Son, we're gonna get up out of here. Yo, thanks
Happy
to
birthday, Mooch.
thanks to Jay the Matrix
birthday,
Gamer.
Mooch.
Thank you, crap. I appreciate that, guys. Give Jay the Matrix
Those
Gamer a
pets
shout
are
out
so
too.
dreamy. What a
Oh, my
stud.
Oh man.
Take another drink, bro. Have a good night. Dude.
We'll see you guys next
Get
week,
laid,
Jay.
man. Get
Jay, move us
laid.
out, Jay. Let's go.
Oh man,
Jeez.
crap, crazy, man. That was fun, Mooch. Thanks a lot. That was fun.
Definitely. Oh man.
Take another drink, bro. Have a good night. Dude.
We'll see you guys next
Get
week,
laid,
Jay.
man. Get
Jay, move us
laid.
out, Jay. Let's go.
Oh man,
Jeez.
crap, crazy, man. That was fun, Mooch. Thanks a lot. That was fun.
Definitely. Oh man.
Take another drink, bro.